Well, a very good morning from Queen's Park in Chesterfield, where we are a few minutes away from getting underway this Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy match between the Blaze and the Southern Vipers. It is match day 8 in this competition for both these sides, 14 games in all. And so we're getting towards the business end of this competition. I can tell you the Blaze have won the toss and they are going to elect, or they are, batting first. Your commentary team is myself, Kevin James, and next to me, Vipers off-spinner, Charlotte Taylor. Charlotte, good morning.
Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, everyone.
It's a nice day here as well. I think it's different parts of the country, mainly down south, there's a bit of rain. And in fact, I've got a couple of messages saying, are you guys going to play up there? And I say, yeah, because the sun is out.
And it wasn't due to be. Well, it was due to be. That's sort of a lie. It was due to rain about 2 o'clock, but by the looks of the weather apps, just check one more time. It does look set fair now all the way till about 9 o'clock. Hopefully it will be long done by then.
If we're here at 9 o'clock, there'll be a few. Well, I don't know what there'll be. I don't know what would keep us here. But anyway, right. So the Blaze have won the toss, elected to bat first. It is 5th against first in this competition. We've got the two teams. You probably should do the Vipers. So I will do the Blaze first up. They have made one change from the side that beat the South East Stars at Beckenham on the Duckworth-Lewis method. That one change is Michaela Kirk is not in the starting 11, and Lucy Hyam, the off-break bowler, is back into the 11. So the Blaze are Teresa Graves, Sarah Bryce, the keeper, Catherine Bryce, her sister, Marie Kelly, Heather Graham, the overseas player, Ella Claridge, Kirsty Gordon, the captain, Josie Groves, Cassidy McCarthy, formerly of the Vipers Academy, is in at 9. Number 10, I haven't got number 10 written down. That's one I'm missing, so I will come back to that. In at 11 is Grace Ballinger.
What if I can help you?
Southern Vipers. Where have I missed that?
You only got... We'll come back to you.
We'll come back to that one, yeah. I've missed one on the list. Never mind. Right, the Vipers.
Yeah, they line up. They make 2 changes. A couple of girls away on England duty. The T20 series starts down at the Utility, actually, on Saturday, tomorrow. So they line up like this. Overseas, Charlie Knott, Ella McCacken, Captain George Adams, George Relwis, Emily Windsor, Abby Norgrove, wicketkeeper Rihanna Southby, Alice Monaghan, Mary Taylor, Freya Davies and Ava Lee. So the 2 changes, in come Ava Lee and Alice Monaghan, and Smith and Kemp, Lindsay Smith and Freya Kemp, miss out through England duty.
Oh, Cassidy McCarthy. I mentioned her, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
I missed that. Right, the 11. So let's go through it again. We've got Teresa Graves, Sarah Bryce, Catherine Bryce, Marie Kelly, Heather Graham, Ella Claridge, Kirsty Gordon, Lucy Hyam, Josie Groves, Cassidy McCarthy and Grace Ballinger.
That is 11.
That is 11. So anyway, I'll come back to. Oh, I know what I've done.
Lucy Hyam.
I've got 2 number 9s.
Right, that's why then.
Sorry, 2 number 8s. So there we are. The sunshine is out. It is almost a full blue sky. The 2 umpires are Paul Pollard and
Amy
Clark. Paul Pollard, who is actually the last game I was at down at Utility Bowl, Hampshire against
Kent?
That's the one.
I was waiting for the penny to drop for a second.
Right. I have had a good night's sleep, everybody. I didn't stay up all night and watch the election. Some of you did. Right, the 2 ends, we're at the pavilion end, and the far end is the lake end.
And it's a very, very small lake. Arguably a pond. An oversized pond.
Is that what it is? Okay. I haven't
Sorry
seen
to
it.
all the people that might love the lake at the top end of the ground, but I would say it's an oversized
Some
pond.
grandiose lake, it is not, apparently. But there is a big clump of trees at the far end of the ground. Actually, as there is most of the way around this ground. It's a very picturesque ground, almost in the centre of Chesterfield. Here we are, we're underway as George Adams, with her off-spin, is bowling the very first over, and it's turned away through mid-wicket. And that is the first runs of the Blaze innings. And that has come courtesy of Teresa Graves. So the Blaze are 1 without loss. 50 overs a side competition.
Of course, the last time these two teams met was in the final last year at Northampton,
Yes.
of which the Vipers were victorious. They haven't yet played each other in the 50-over format in 2024.
As Adams bowls, and that's turned away on the leg side. There'll be runs here behind square. There'll be at least 2 for Sarah Bryce. So the Blaze move on to 3. That's right. They played each other 2 years ago, and the Vipers won both those games. Sorry, the Blaze won one, and the Vipers won one. The Blaze won at New Coast on the Isle of Wight. Did you play in that one?
I think I was 12, thing.
Oh, you're 12, I think that one. That's pushed out on the offside, and there is no run.
It was an interesting night's sleep the night before in a hotel on the high street. It was just a little bit interesting, to say the least, shall we say.
Is that right? Oh, so loud?
Yeah, quite frightening at times.
Okay, that's cut away in the air, but safe by Bryce. That's going down towards the 3rd boundary at the far end of the ground, and that's just, you can just see the ball just kick up off the rope.
I was going to say there's a little bit of a slope down there as well. It sort of races across this ground, and I said, I can't remember who I was speaking to at the start of play, it might have been the analyst, the Vipers analyst, about the fact that this is on the edge of a city centre, so therefore is it more concrete based, and therefore will run a bit quicker across this surface possibly.
Well, it looks as though it already is. Oh, did I hear a train there?
He might have done.
Oh, it's one of those parks. And that's pushed out on the offside by Bryce. Extra cover. Oh, did you get the little sound of a little choo-choo?
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite
Don't know
nice,
where it is
actually.
though. Let's have a little look.
There's obviously a little track running around here, which I never knew. That's cut away. Windsor is out on the cover boundary away to our left. Bryce will pick up another single and moves on to 7, and the Blaze on to 8 without loss. First over gone then. George Adams concedes 8 runs, and as Charlotte Taylor says, no England players in the Vipers lineup now. They are missing something like 6 of their team, which is quite a big. But of course, no Siva Brunt, no Tammy Beaumont,
It's
no
probably
Sarah
that
Glenn
actually,
for the
because
Blaze.
Tammy is not in the T20 squad, so maybe just taking a little bit of a rest at the end of the ODI series. Means that she's not available today. But there we go. Surprised that George Adams opened the bowling as well. There's obviously some tactical element against spin between these two, possibly. Or they wouldn't go with Mary Taylor. Freya Davies with the new ball then from the lake end. Might call it the river end, might create my own ends.
Well, there is a river, isn't
The
there?
River Hipper.
Yes.
Not Hippo.
No.
Hipper.
Hippo. That's an unusual name.
Here we are then, Freya Davies. Ball in hand, 8, the score. She runs in past the umpire. And bowls Sarah Bryce, who cuts it up Ashley. And it goes through to 3rd. It's running away from Ella McCacken actually to her right hand side. Does a good slide to pull it back in. And they'll get 2. Does race across here, Kev.
It does, isn't it? It's a very quick outfit. Beautiful, picturesque parkland, surrounded by trees, in the middle of
Control the
Queen's
wind.
Park. They've suddenly announced Freya Davies after she's already bowled.
She's in again then to Sarah Bryce. 2 wickets waiting, 2 slips waiting. She digs that one out onto the offside and we'll pick up 2 more. As Abby Norgrove runs back from deep point to do the fielding. Poor throw back into wicket around the Southby. Runs are flowing here for the Blaze. Bryce is now on 11. Scores 12. Teresa Graves and Sarah Bryce, the 2 opening batters for the Blaze. Bryce played her first game last week in this competition, was away on international duty before that with Scotland. Davison again bowls to Bryce, who's trying to work that leg side. Teresa Graves wants a single, it come off the pad into the leg side. And it wasn't a single there, I don't think. Sent back by Bryce. Bit of a miscommunication there for a second between the 2.
Yeah, well, I wonder where she was going for a minute.
She started darting towards her, didn't she?
She did.
But there we go. Davies again throws the ball from one hand to another. A long blonde ponytail. Tall girl Freya Davies bounds in past the umpire, bowls to Bryce, who's on the back foot this time and defends it back to Davies in a follow through. And there is no run. So yeah, Sarah Bryce played her first game They made 318 in their last game against the South East Stars at Beckenham.
That's a huge
on
score,
Sunday.
isn't it, in 50
Massive.
over cricket?
Bryce made 81 of them. Sarah Bryce, that is. 3 catches and a stumping as well. This is only second game. Played all of the T20 competition, but missed the first half of the Rachael Heyhoe due to international duty. Davies in again to Bryce, who's driving on the up to George Elvis at extra cover, and there is no run there either.
And of course, we mentioned it, didn't we, during finals day? Of course, the Blazers already picked up a trophy this season, winning the
They played well in that
Charlotte
competition.
Edwards Cup. They did, didn't they? But the Bryces were over Scotland and helping them qualify for the T20 World Cup in October in Bangladesh.
Exciting times for them. So wind gusts across the ground. Davies in again, bowls to Bryce, who's driving nicely past the bowler. We'll get one to a diving... Who's that there? Is that Averley? Diving to her left. Can't stop the single. They'll get one more. So the total at the end of the second over, Blaze are 13 for no loss.
It's a good start, isn't it? I know it's only 2 overs, but...
They look positive though, don't they?
They do.
Between
confident. So I mentioned the Southern Vipers sit top, but only on run rate ahead of the Sunrisers. Both teams have won 5 from their 7 matches. The Blaze sit 5th, having won 3.
Yeah, they started poorly, would be unfair, but didn't start as well as they probably wanted to. They were sitting bottom before the last game. Jumped up a few places.
Here's Georgia Adams then, and bowls to Bryce, who's turning that away through mid-wicket. That will be another single. Ella McGachan fielding that one for the Vipers. It's 2 teams in orange. Batters and the fielders. So it looks like they're playing an inter-squad game here.
Yeah. Or a test match.
Yes.
An orange test match.
14 without loss then. The Blaze, having won the toss, selected to bowl first. I think that's come off the pad. There's a half shout from somebody, maybe Georgia Adams. I think that's going to be signalled leg bias. Yes, it is. Extravagance. She gets her leg up well then, doesn't she? Amy Clark, well, word, I tell you what, there's a few people who wouldn't be able to lift their leg that high.
I think I'd cramp.
Yeah, God. 15 without loss. Here's Adams. Bowls and nice easy shot out towards point on the offside.
Looked like it come back in a fraction.
Yeah.
There's a slight slope, isn't it, going away from us? There's a very, very slight one towards the river.
Here's Adams again and bowls. That's worked up to mid-on. They're going to take a quick single there. Freya Davis was perhaps a little slow on that one, probably thinking that Ella McGachan was coming across at mid-wicket, but she didn't. Total moves on to 16 without loss. Now, before the game, we've been chatting lots, of course, as we do. And there is a lot of ex-professionals on this ground. There isn't a lot of people here. That's turned away square on the leg side by Teresa Graves. And in a game where perhaps you wouldn't expect a lot of ex-professionals, and we were saying we could almost put out a side here. I think we'll run through a few names. Almost is almost the opposite word. Probably a 6-a-side game we probably would be able to hear. If it was the old Hong Kong 6s, we might be able to. It's played out on the onside. No rain. End of the over. 3 overs gone here at the Queen's Park in Chesterfield.
I do remember you talking about the Hong Kong 6-a-side.
Right, with Hong Kong 6s. Oh, well,
there is a train,
the
but I don't know where it's coming from is the issue, because I couldn't see on the map a train track.
Is there not?
Well, I couldn't see one. Doesn't mean that doesn't exist, of course. It could just be my poor eyesight.
I'm guessing it's coming from about 2 o'clock behind those trees as we look, but...
Running along the side of the river, maybe.
Yeah, it might be.
Anyway, sorry, back to Hong Kong 6.
So anyway, we're saying, the old Hong Kong 60s were a forerunner to the T20.
Right, okay.
It was played in Hong Kong, funny enough. And all the test-playing nations used to send aside every year. So that was kind of... So if you were playing that, and that was a format that was still going, then I think we could probably just about put a side out.
Just about.
We'll run through some names.
Freya Davies then to start her second over. Bowls to Bryce, who's driving on the up. Nicely to Mary Taylor at mid-off, but no run is taken.
So on this field, right now, are coaching the Southern Vipers, batting coach...
Paul Pritchard.
Paul Pritchard, formerly of Essex captain. Obviously myself.
Obviously.
Obviously, that's 2.
2 out of 6.
That's 2 so far.
I need to pick my 6-a-side tournament that's gonna play you. Davies then in once again to Sarah Bryce, who's playing that off her legs towards Emily Windsor at long leg. We'll get one more to the total. We've tracked down the train. It's more of a tourist attraction.
There it is. If you're watching the live picture feed, there it is, going behind the ice cream van, which also is a notable landmark here, which probably will be frequented by one or two of us at some point. So there's the train. We've located it. Looks nice, little land train.
Lovely, isn't it?
So we've got, I think you'll have to be in the side as well. You're not an ex-pro, but you'll have to be.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Davies in again, bounce past the umpire, bowls to Bryce. Graves, sorry. He's driving to mid-off.
So we've got three. Myself, Paul Pritchard, Charlotte Taylor. Umpiring, Paul Pollard, formerly of Notts.
Have you got a good mix of skills, though? Skill set. Have you got all bases
Paul Pollard
covered?
opened the batting.
Okay, so there's your opening partnership.
There's your opening partnership. Pritchard, we've got a lot of batting, actually. Oh, actually, no, me and you bowl.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, so there we are.
What a great opening combo.
Yes. You'll be bowling quicker than I will, that's for sure.
I don't know about that. Davies in once again, driving again is Graves to mid-off. Third shot goes to the same place. Mary Taylor does the fielding once again, and there is no run.
Oh, I think we've got our keeper, John Stanworth.
Oh yeah.
Formerly of Lancashire. He's on the ground. He's
Oh yeah, that's a good point. You can't really do anything with that. We're
struggling with that keeper.
Yeah.
So there we are. So there's John Stanworth, formerly of Lancashire. I think he's with the ECB now, isn't he?
Yes, something to do with the England pathway.
So we've got five. Actually, there might be a player that doesn't get in now.
You'll have a sub as well.
Yeah.
Davies bowls to Graves. He's trying to work that leg side. Hits her high on the thigh pad, and balloons out in front of her. Southby comes out from behind the stumps to do the fielding, and no runners taken.
John Lewis is on the ground. Now he's something to do with England women, isn't he? I'm not quite sure exactly.
He is the batting coach, I think.
Batting coach of the England women.
And he's the head coach of the England A side.
Right, formerly of Durham and Essex. So there's another batter in
So
the
is that
side.
6?
That's 6,
'Cause
but
you've got
also
your
on the
6.
ground.
Oh gosh, the suspense is killing me. Davies bowls again to Graves, who's driving that on the up leg side. They'll come through for a quick single and they'll take it. Ava Lee does the fielding at mid-on and won't throw the ball in. And they'll pick up one more. A good tidy over from Davies, right on the money pretty much every time. 18 for no loss at the end of the 4th.
Now, also on the ground is Mick Newell. So, formerly of Notts. So there we are. So we've got 7. We've got a sub.
Well, there's a few more in the Vipers coaching staff as well, because we've also got Charlotte Edwards there.
Oh, Charlotte Edwards could include. Actually, we have got a team.
And James Hibbard.
James Hibbard.
So you've got a full-on.
Yeah.
That's at least a good solid 8. You can play with 8, can't you?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've
You've
got 9.
That's all right.
And there must be somebody else attached
We'll
to the
find
flag so
somebody.
we can find somebody. George Evans is continuing from the pavilion end, and that's a nice looking shot. Pretty shot off the back foot by Groves out towards extra cover, and there's no run. So 18 without loss. We've had, 4 overs, haven't we?
We have.
This game plays winning the toss, selecting to bat first. So there are effectively 3 teams on this ground. Great, we could have a beer match after the game.
In Chesterfield.
Little 10 over T10 game.
There's an artificial strip there we could use. We're not going to ruin anyone's wickets.
No, that's
to
right.
our
Yeah.
right.
Let's use that short boundary. One or two of us probably still wouldn't be able to reach the boundary even there. But here's Adams bowls and full defensive shot there by Groves. He was on 2 currently. Sarah Bryce is on 15. Vipers contingent. Oh, there it is. Oh, we're going to hear
nice,
that all day.
isn't
It's a lovely summer sound. There's Adams bowls, and that's driven nicely wide of mid-on, and that's going for 4, just to our right here. Freya Davis, well away from her, just cannons into some tinny chairs there, away to our right.
Thinking about.
There's some hospitality still up at the moment. Championship game here against
Yeah, got all of that.
Probably don't talk about that now. Well beaten. And they're back here on Sunday in a T20 against the same opposition.
Against Yorkshire.
So
Maybe.
everything is still laid out.
Ready to go.
Yeah. Here's Adams, bowls, it's short outside the off stump, cut away by Groves out to point.
Didn't really get up that one at all, did it? She was reaching for it quite low.
Did keep it a bit low. Did. Score remains on 22 without loss. Here's Adams, bowls, and push to extra cover, no run there. So effectively these 2 sides have played 3 times in this competition since the Blaze morphed from Lightning. Vipers have won 2, Blaze have won 1. And that one of those Vipers victories we touched on earlier was in the final last year at Northampton. That's pushed out towards extra cover, end of the over. So 5 overs gone. And the Blaze are 22 without loss, with Sarah Bryce on 15, the dominant partner here at the moment. And 6 to Teresa Graves.
You'd expect Bryce to be probably the more dominant in the partnership. Tends to sort of command when she comes to the crease. Flowing with confidence after a high score of 81 last week. Mammoth score put together by the Blaze last week. Contributions all the way down, including a very handy 71 from 47 from Ella Claridge, so we might see her in action later. Sort of a trademark innings for her. Hasn't really made massive inroads in the competition over the last few years. Young player, finding her way. Davies then to start her third over from the Lake End. Bowls to Bryce. She's hit high on the pad. There's a big shout from the Vipers troops. And it's turned down by umpire Paul Pollard. Looks a little bit high for me, Kev.
Yes, I agree. Too much bounce on that occasion.
The intel from Paul Pritchard when we were speaking to him about this ground. He played here back in the 80s and said it had a bit of a tennis ball bounce back then. I think that was a long time ago. Davies in again, bowls to Bryce. Short this time on her hips and just work leg side. It's racing away past the fine leg boundary. Emily Windsor comes round to her right, does well, slides and pulls that one back in. They'll pick up 2 to the total. The throw comes back in way over the head of wicketkeeper Rihanna Southby. They pick up 2 more. 24 the score for the Blaze.
Yeah, I was just watching a replay actually of that LBW shot from Freya Davis. Looks like it was, yeah, a little high, but also probably going down the leg side as well.
Davies bounds in again to Bryce, and that's got a bit of a pop off a good length hit. Bryce high on the bat, she comes forward, drops it into the offside, and won't pick up a run on that occasion. You can see that tennis ball bounce actually, even though this pitch report was from the 80s that we got. It still reigns quite true actually.
Pitch report from the 80s.
That's what Paul Pritchard said to me yesterday actually, talking to him about the ground. But there we go, it still reigns true. Davies bowls, good action, strong shot from Bryce as she cuts that square on the offside. It will race away through cover for 4. No protection out there for the Vipers, too short, too wide from Davies.
He gave that a clatter, didn't she?
28 for no loss. Blaze.
That score last week. First time
All of that.
competition. Sitting at the top of the averages with over 80 average.
It's not bad, is it?
Settle for that, wouldn't you? Just retire after that one day.
Yeah, I did. No, I didn't. Davies needs to be a bit tighter in her lines, a little bit fuller as well. She's in again to Bryce. There's a little trigger across the offside, and that's beating her on the outside of the off stump, and it's wrong-footed. Wicketkeeper Rihanna Southby comes through on a half volley to her. Everyone looked a bit bemused as to must have come off the seam, maybe.
He's trying to flick that quite square. Actually, that looked a bit of a risky shot. I'm trying to see that again.
Dot ball nonetheless.
That kicked a little low. Actually, if anything, this ball looks as though there is a little bit of variable bounce, doesn't it?
Davies in once again, bowls to Bryce, who's cutting again off the back foot, and great stop at cover by Charlie Knott. They come through for a single, there'll be a run out, it's gone. Teresa Graves was left stranded. It's a brilliant bit of fielding by Charlie Knott in the covers, diving full stretch to her left, gets the throw away quickly, and Graves was left stranded. So the Blaze lose their first. Teresa Graves falls for 6. Had a bit of a hit and run situation really. She thought she'd beaten them, Sarah Bryce. Beaten Charlie Knott in the covers, but a brilliant bit of fielding, pulled it back in. Blaze now find themselves losing their first wicket in the 6th. 28 for no loss.
4-1.
Sorry. No, I just had a feedback from somebody that's listening that said there's a bit of
Yeah, I got close.
some commentary. Our commentary dips out.
Okay.
Just to let you know, there's a little bit. This is from Jack Southby, Rihanna's brother. Just to let you know, there's a little bit of an issue with the audio. It keeps crossing over to like a different set of commentators, not sure what's happening.
Okay. Right, just watching the replay of that run out by a good yard. So Teresa Graves goes, I think, guilty a little bit of running on the shot.
A little bit.
Yeah, but not taking anything away from Charlie Knott. Superb in the covers. You probably wouldn't have expected her. I mean, maybe stop it, but when you stop it and the ball's that close to you, you know what I mean? You're normally palming it somewhere, aren't you? Or it's gone just far enough away. You think as a batter will get away with it, but the ball sort of stuck close to her. She was able to get the ball in quickly.
That's the key, wasn't it?
Now, this is a surprise. It's Georgia Elwes with her right-arm medium paces down the leg side, and that is called a wide. Now, I say it's a surprise because she has had all sorts of back problems and hasn't been doing much bowling. In fact, this is her first over of the season.
It is.
So she's been protecting her back as the former England player, and that's turned away on the onside, no run. So we had Freya Kemp in the last game for the Vipers, bowling her first deliveries for 2 seasons, with all her back problems. Now she's been whisked away with the England squad ahead of the T20s. And Georgia Elwes, the Vipers are full of surprises. Here's Elwes bowling, and it's cut away. Oh, it's misfield. Misfield in the covers, and that is going to be 4 runs off the bat of Sarah Bryce. So the commentary's a bit of a problem?
No, it's fine. It's only on replays, apparently, update.
Ah, right.
Just when the replays come on, so that's fine.
Well, that's...
Panic over.
That's a relief. So the 2 Bryce sisters are reunited again, and I will just go back to the Charlotte Edwards Cup T20 final when they beat the South East Stars. These two together, it's cut away, it's in the air, she had to reach for that, and she gets away with it, goes down towards point, deep third, Sarah Bryce, the ball coming off the bottom of the bat. And we said at the time, didn't we, because we were doing commentary throughout the day, and we said the way those two batted and chased down that total was absolutely brilliant. And I saw Kirsty Gordon's comments after the game, and she said that was an absolute masterclass in how to chase down a total. And they were. They
were cool, calm, collected,
they were.
weren't
They didn't panic or anything. Right? Oh, no ball. As it goes and cannons into the pads of Catherine Bryce. They were absolutely superb. If ever you want a lesson in how to chase down a decent total and how to do it,
that was it.
Go and watch on YouTube, I guess it will still be, and just watch that partnership between these two. It was absolutely near perfect. As Elwes bowls, she's yorked, and it's come off the bottom of the bat, maybe off the gloves as well of Rhianna Southby. What's the umpire signaling? Buys. So he didn't touch anything, actually. Well, unless touched Rhianna Southby in some shape. It looks like has she hurt her hand? No, she's maybe just readjusting her glove. So the total is 36 for 1 here at Queen's Park in Chesterfield, which is bathed in sunshine, if a little chilly. Oh, was there an edge? Oh, was Rhianna Southby there? Guilty of it just popping out of her gloves.
It's difficult when that variable bounce comes in, doesn't it?
Isn't it?
It's the one that stayed a bit lower, maybe the ball before, although it was a Yorker. A couple have stayed a bit lower, and then that one popping off a good length from Georgia Elwes.
I'm just watching the replay of that. It was outside leg stump, the Yorker, and the batter did look behind her as well. So there's a suggestion of an edge. That's turned down to 5. There's nobody there. That's going for 4. Down at the far end of the ground, the lake end, the whistling train end of the ground. 40 for 1.
The River Hipper
we've
end.
had 6 again. The River Hipper end, and whatever end we can think of in the next few seconds. That is 6 overs gone then, and the Blaze are 40 for 1, and Sarah Bryce has scored the majority of those runs. She is 30 not out.
Yeah, they just need to make sure that they keep sort of a grasp on this, the Vipers. Leaking runs, only sort of 1 boundary and over at the moment. We said before it's a quick outfield, but they just need to make sure that it doesn't run away from them in this first 10, because they're just building confidence, the Blaze.
Train's back. at the far end,
Is
making
it the
its way
same
towards...
train going backwards and forwards,
Well,
or is there more than one?
Well, it's blue. The engine's blue, unless there's more than one blue engine train.
Because then it's only going 100 metres and coming back again. It's not going very far before we're seeing it again, is it really?
It's got 3 carriages, not too many people on it.
Probably 3 passengers as well. Davies in again to start her 4th, bowls to Bryce. You can say Bryce. It's Catherine Bryce on this occasion. It goes through to wicketkeeper Raina Southby.
We'll just say Bryce.
It's just easier, isn't it?
We've got
I
it all
think.
covered.
And you can make up your mind. You can just imagine which one it is, can't
Yeah.
you? Just take a lucky guess. It's Catherine Bryce that's on strike. Of course, got the MVP of the CEC. That rhymes. It wasn't meant to.
Most valuable player.
Yeah, most valuable player voted for. Davies in again to Catherine Bryce, who plays that carefully on the leg side, up to Averley at mid-on. And there is no run taken. And she was valuable for the Blaze in that competition. I think I was looking through her numbers. I don't think she scored below 20 in that competition.
Really?
You know, it's in T20 cricket when you're potentially batting in the power play, being more aggressive. It's just a real good effort to not be dismissed for less than 20. She was making big contributions. None more so in that final just a few weeks ago. Davies in again to Bryce. Bowls, good length delivery, driving as Bryce up to Mary Taylor at mid-off. Small fumble, but it costs nothing.
I'm going to keep a count throughout today. It won't be easy of the number of times that we hear that train doing its whistle. So I'm going to start from now. How many times do you reckon it's whistled since we've been here?
We're already guessing.
8?
Yeah, probably.
Should we say
about.
8? Let's say 8 for now, then I'm going to try and keep score
Okay.
throughout the day.
So she's keeping so many scores. Just challenging yourself. Davies in again, a full-length delivery on the pads of Bryce, but she gets nothing on it as it ricochets back to Davies in her follow-through. Nice full-length delivery. Just gets that gentle in-swing.
Yeah.
It's Freya Davies.
She's been a good addition to the Vipers, hasn't she? I mean, they are short of seam bowlers.
Only 4 wickets so far in this competition, so more work for her to do. Obviously missed a few games through exams, but firmly into the summer now, so she can enjoy her cricket again. And she bowls to Bryce wide this time, outside the stump. Not called a wide, actually. It now is called a wide by umpire Paul Pollard. It looked quite wide from here as the wicketkeeper Southby dived to her right to stop it.
Yeah, I remember speaking to her after that big win, wasn't it, the last T20 group game against the Stars down at Hove, which of course was a warm-up for the semi-final, which the result went the other way. But I spoke to her afterwards, and she said, "I've got an exam tomorrow," and there she was playing at Hove the day before.
But I think she'll be happy that all those are behind her now. She's in again to Bryce, who's driving a little bit on the up. Was Catherine Bryce, but hits it straight to Charlie Knott at cover. He fields that one without the need to dive on that occasion. No run taken. 41 for 1 at the end of the 8th. Are the Blaze.
Yeah, just the one run off Freya Davies' over. So, just to remind you, the Blaze won the toss and elected to bat first. One change. Off-spinner Lucy Hyam in for another off-spinner, Michaela Kirk. The Vipers making 2 changes. Lindsay Smith and Freya Kemp whisked off to join up with the England squad ahead of the T20s, which start tomorrow at the Utilita Bowl down just outside Southampton. And in come Ollis Monaghan, who's had a bit of an injury. Oh, it's not the end of the over.
It's still Davies. Bowls to Bryce. There's obviously one more. And now it's the end of the over. That was driven by Bryce up to mid-on, and now it's officially the end of the
8.
at the end of the 8th. 41 for 1. The score remains the same. So that ball was a dot.
That's 9 whistles now off the train.
This is going to be a real challenge.
Well, it's one of those that I'm looking forward to meeting the challenge. It'll be,
going to say meeting
it'll be
the
a real
train
effort.
driver.
Well, that may be on the cards. We might even ask him to come over in his lunch break, if we can. It's a long way away, though. The train doesn't make its way around this end of the ground. I think we've already worked that out, haven't we? It stays down the far end by the lake.
I need a portable microphone so I can go and...
Yeah, we do. You can run off
Surely that's the next thing.
Say hello,
in the development of radio commentary, BBC radio commentary.
Oh gosh, there are. Oh yeah, you can do that loads. It's just that I haven't got one with me. Because
I could give you
enough.
live updates from the train. I could be getting a little ride up on the train to the lake, and I could be giving you live.
So Charlotte, what's the view like from there?
There we go.
Here's Georgia Elwes. That's very wide of off stump. Sarah Bryce does try and reach it, but it's signalled wide once more. We could commentate from each end of the ground. That's number 10.
You're like heightened to it.
Actually, it's becoming a little bit more frequent. Do you think? Feels like the train's warming up. Here's Elwes. Oh, that does keep a bit low. I think we can safely say here, this track's a little bit up and down.
We've seen enough of it now in the last
We have.
half an hour or so.
So Sarah Bryce going well here. She's not out on 30. Catherine Bryce yet to get off the mark. Their sister. The elder sister.
2 years older.
Is, yeah, Catherine. It's a length ball, which is maybe just stopped in the wicket a fraction as well. Doesn't seem to come out anywhere near the middle of Sarah Bryce's bat. Vipers chatting amongst themselves just to our right. Bit of a tarmacked area in front of us before you get to the actual playing area and the rope. They're all sat in chairs in the sunshine, chatting away. Here's Elwes bowling, and it's pushed up towards mid-off. There is no run. So yeah, lots of green trees around this playing area. The car park area on the grass is away to our left. There we go, number 11. I'm not sure I can keep this up.
It's because it's now becoming really frequent.
Elwes bowls, driven up to mid-off once more, fielded by Mary Taylor, seam bowler, who we'll see at some point, I'm sure.
I'm surprised we haven't seen her just yet, but obviously with the reintroduction of Georgia Elwes into their attack, gives them an extra option.
Why would you think Georgia Elwes would bowl in front of Mary Taylor? Because Mary Taylor's been bowling regularly all season.
She has been bowling regularly. Whether she's been as consistent as she'd want to be is another thing.
Okay. That's guided down to third where there is a fielder. It will be a single. Looks like it's Emily Windsor down there. I can just tell the way she runs and her blonde ponytail bouncing away. She picks that ball up. The total moves on to 43 for one, and Sarah Bryce moves on to 31 here. Just that one wicket has gone. Teresa Gray's run out for 6. Brilliant piece of fielding from Charlie Not in the covers. Throwing the ball, and Rhianna Southby whisking off the bails. Nice drive out to the covers. Well, they're taking a single. They have to hurry here as well. Questions asked, but Bryce is home. Sarah Bryce, that is. Gosh, her sister running out. Her sister, that would have been interesting.
An interesting drive home.
End of the over, 8 gone. Even though... Oh, it's 9 gone, actually. Tell her that. 9 gone, 44 for 1.
It was a well-judged single in the end, actually, at the end of that over. I think she hit it firmly, but to McCacken's left-hand side, and being a right-handed throw, I think it was a well-judged single in the end.
Pritch is just in Paul Pritchard. We've worked out we can almost get an ex-pro's 11 now. An ex-pro 11 on the ground. An ex-pro professional 11. Now, you know I said there's a few of us here. Well, there's actually loads. If you include Charlotte Edwards, we could almost get 11 now. Yeah. Out for it? He says yeah, but he's not. I know he's not.
Davies in again then to start over number 5 for her. She starts short and wide. It's cut to point. It's well fielded by Abby Norgrove there. And concedes 1, but does well to stop the boundary. 45 for 1. Another one to Catherine Bryce. She moves to 2. He wasn't particularly keen, was he, to be perfectly honest? He's quite happy sat there in the sunshine.
He is, yeah. He's just smiled at me again as if to say, are you really serious? Are you really going to try and get us all to play? Well, Mick Newell can't stick around because Notts are playing a T20 tonight,
well,
so he's going later, so he wouldn't make
We're back to 6 then, aren't we?
Yeah.
In comes Davies once more to Sarah Bryce. It's a good length delivery, and Bryce drives it nicely to extra cover. Georgia Elwes is there, though. Sort of a surrounding of trees, isn't it? It sort of wraps around us. Feels like we're in a nice warm hug of trees. Assuming Davies bowls once more to Bryce, and that one did shoot along the floor. It was short and wide, but it didn't really get above the knee rolls of the batter, and wasn't called a wide in the end. So Davies gets away with that one. But there is definitely some variable bounce out here. It's going to be difficult to sort of play a full array of strokes when the ball doesn't get up an awful lot at times. As Davies runs towards us, bowls to Bryce, and that one does pop outside the off stump, goes through a good length delivery, beats the outside edge of Sarah Bryce's bat. So we've had one short wide one that didn't get above the knee roll, and then we've had one good length delivery that beats and comes through over the top of the stump. So it's going to be difficult today, I think, for the batters.
Yeah.
Just need to be very watchful. Davies turns at the top of her mark, waits for Bryce to be ready. She's ready now, and Davies bowls to her. A good length delivery and defended into the leg side. The Sarah Bryce, up to Ava Lee at mid-on, who again we'll see with her off spin at some point today. Sort of an extra, with Georgia Ellis bowling, gives them another form of attack, doesn't it? It really strengthens their bowling attack. Always helps when one of your top five or a couple of your top five are able to pitch in with the ball as well. Davies bowls again to Bryce, and that's beautifully driven onto the offside. And well fielded by Charlie Knott again in the covers as it bounces nicely into our hands, and there is no run at the end of that one. So 10 overs gone, we're at the end of the power play now, 45 for 1. Sarah Bryce leading the way, but with a on 31, and her sister is with her on 2.
So the bowlers used so far by the Vipers. Georgia Adams opened up with her off spin from the pavilion end here. 3 overs, none for 14. Georgia Elwes has bowled 2 overs, none for 14. And Freya Davis, who's done the bulk of the bowling at the moment, has completed 5 overs, and she has gone for 15, just up 1 wicket, which was the run out. Teresa Graves, 6 off 14 deliveries with 1 boundary. And we've got another change from the pavilion end, and we've got Charlie Knott. Now, I did read something about Charlie Knott the last couple of days. She's been called up into the Australian A squad.
Yeah, she has. She's going to be been named as captain of the 4-day. So they've got a sort of a multi-format series against India A, and she's been named the captain of the 4-day side, and then is also included in the ODI and T20 as well.
It's one to Catherine Bryce with her off spin. Bryce just plays it nicely back to her. So that's her first national call-up, isn't it?
It is.
Not surprising, because she's having a good season with the Vipers, and she got a first 100 in.
Was that a pun? Not surprising.
Not surprising. I didn't realise it was. That's flighted. That's driven out towards extra cover. Thank you for pointing it out.
That's okay.
Bowling in a cap, which is also a trademark of hers. There we go. That's number 12.
You probably missed 1 or 2 in the middle there.
Probably have. Well, we guessed for that first 8, or I have. Reverse sweep there from Catherine Bryce, and that's running down towards the 3rd boundary, and that's running all the way. 4 runs, nicely played by Catherine Bryce, who moves on to 6. 49 for 1. So it's a multi-format series, as you say, and I was trying to sort of match the dates, really, because is that in August, that series? I think it is.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to work out if she misses any cricket. She might miss at least 1, maybe 2 of these Rachael Heyhoe Flint games. Quicker ball this time, and reverse swept once more. And again, it's running down towards the 3rd boundary, and again, it'll go for 4. 2 good reverse sweeps there from Catherine Bryce, and Georgia Adams, quite understandably, is coming up to speak to Charlie Knott and saying, do you think we need to plug that area? 50 up for the Blaze. So I reckon she will probably miss the reverse game against the Blaze down at Arundel on the 26th.
She actually leaves on the 30th of July, so she won't miss that one. It will be, and then she's still here for the first couple of games of the 100 as well. She's a replacement for Smriti Mandana in the Southern Brave lineup.
Okay, let's try to ramp that one on the leg side this time. That bounced. Oh, now it's hit Rihanna Southby in the helmet. Yeah, so we're having a quick concussion situation here, where I don't think there's anything you need to worry about. That's a very slow delivery, which I think just ricocheted.
She's done the right thing there, as Charlie not, because she's been reverse swept, flatter, quicker deliveries. And it was almost like a reverse paddle for the first 2 balls. And then obviously gone slower and a bit more flight on the ball to stop her playing that shot. And just drifted down a little bit down the leg side, and that variable bounce comes in again and makes it a bit difficult for the batters to settle.
So a bit of a break in play.
So yeah, sorry, Charlie
so
Knott. She leaves the Vipers camp on the 30th. She leaves the UK on the 30th of July.
Right,
so
okay. So
she'll
there's been
play the rest of this competition up until the 100.
Yeah.
And then it breaks for the 100. And then she plays a couple of games for the Southern Brave as a replacement for Shmitty Mandana, who's involved in the Asia Cup.
Okay.
And then she will then leave and go and play in the India A Tour, and Shmitty will come in for her as the overseas for the rest of the competition with the Brave.
Yeah, got you. So when this competition obviously takes its break because of the 100 and then resumes towards the end of August, she might still miss 1 or 2 games, I guess, because I'm looking at the dates. Oh, that really is flighted. And that's driven out to deep cover by Catherine Bryce. We'll pick up 2.
Yeah, I'm not sure she's coming back after it.
Oh, she's not? So that'll be it?
Yeah.
Oh, right, so she'll miss
the rest of them.
Yeah, so I'm looking very quick count up. 1, 2, 3, 4. There'll be we'll miss the final 4 Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy matches. 11 overs gone here at Queen's Park in Chesterfield. 55 for 1. 10 runs off that. Charlie not over. Nancy Harmer's coming back with a couple of cups of coffee. Not for us, unfortunately.
I wish. And not sure what happens to Heather Graham. So she's not involved in the Australian A. She's obviously the overseas for the Blaze at the moment. She's not involved in this Australia A versus India A tour, so I assume that they'll see her for a little bit longer. Don't know if she's involved in a 100 team as well. I'll have to maybe have a little look at that. They might see her in September. She's staying for the 100. It's a bit difficult if you're over here during that time for the Rachael Heyhoe in this period, the block before the 100, and then you're not selected in the 100 team. What do you do for that month? Do you sort of take some time off? Do you go home? Do you come back? Mary Taylor then replaces Freya Davies at the lake end, bowls her first over, bowls to Sarah Bryce. It's an outside edge, thick outside edge dropped by wicketkeeper Rihanna Southby, dives to her right. It was a tough chance. She was wrong-footed initially. It was a thick outside edge. She was turned square with Sarah Bryce, and good first delivery from Mary Taylor, but maybe a missed opportunity by the Vipers to dismiss one of these dominant Bryce sisters in this lineup.
Oh, yeah. She got there, didn't she, Southby? It looked like it was just not right in the middle of the glove. She got the glove behind it.
Taylor in again, then another full delivery, slash through the third region by Bryce. Picks up 1 more to her total, so she survives and moves on to 33. Blaze scores 57. We're into the 12th.
Yeah, that's unusual for her, isn't it? She's having a really good season behind the stumps.
It is. Shorter ball from Taylor this time, slashed back with a point by Catherine Bryce. You can tell she's in form. 4 more to her total, 4 more to the Blaze. It's a lovely shot, got well on top of it, raced across the boundary, across the outfield, into the boundary, sorry. It was hit with some power. It's dangerous when these two Bryce sisters are firing together, isn't it? Score moves to 60. Taylor in again. Bowls to Catherine Bryce. Short and wide outside the off stump. I thought it was going to be called a wide by the umpire, and it wasn't. Had good carry through to the keeper. Dot ball. Will the Vipers be brewing that missed opportunity to dismiss Sarah Bryce? Dropped. Tough chance behind the stumps, but one that Southby might have been willing to take. Taylor in again, bowls to Bryce. A Yorker length delivery plays that out into the offside. A wild throw from Elwes as they collect 1 more to the total. 61 for 1, the Blaze now. Taylor only taken 5 wickets in this competition so far. Hasn't bowled her best. She'll be the first one to admit that. She did get her best figures last game on Sunday against the Storm. 3 for 32 she made there. Good length delivery that time from Taylor, played into the ground on the offside by Sarah Bryce. To the fielder at point, Abby Norgrove. That's the end of the 13th over. And the Blazers 61 for 1. Sarah Bryce 32 not out. It's Catherine Bryce, her sister, with a 17 not out. Just starting to build a little partnership between these two. Like I said before, it's probably the most formidable one in their lineup, because when the two of them get going together, they can be quite dangerous, I believe. So they'll be wanting to break this partnership.
Yeah, they've been together since, what, 28? It's now 61. 12 overs gone. Charlie Knott is going to continue. And we've got all sorts going on. We've got the police sirens. We've got still got the train running. I hope they're not coming to take that away. I've quite enjoyed that so far. There's a slog sweep, which is an inside edge down towards fine from the bat of Catherine Bryce. She's going to run 2 as the throw comes into Southby. Not the best throw. Half volley in front of her, not easy. You can see on the live picture feed the flag. The flags, Union flag, blowing quite profusely there, really. There is a breeze from time to time here, isn't there? We're shielded at a point, we're ground level with a row of trees, or the line of trees helps, but there is definitely a breeze. Wrapped on the pad there is Sarah Bryce. Sorry, Catherine Bryce. She's 19, Sarah Bryce is 32 currently. Charlie Knott from our commentary and the pavilion end. This Green Van hasn't done much of a trade yet. Seen 1 or 2 up there. Driven up towards Freya Davies. Has a pick up and throw at the bowler's end. Sarah Bryce is comfortably home. She moves on to 20. 64 for 1 now. The Blaze.
Another score over 20 for Catherine Bryce. She's making a habit of doing this. 30 in the last game.
Solid. Steady.
Danger player for the Vipers at the moment.
That is flighted again, wrapped the pads, flicks away down the leg side, just waiting for umpire Amy Clark to signal leg byes. If she does, the leg's not quite as high that time. She's got it almost like right angles before when she lifted her leg. It wasn't quite as high.
Getting tired.
Yeah, 65.
Got a long day to go.
That's what it is. A long day, but we won't lift the leg at all by the end of the day. Again, that's flighted and that's driven out handsomely towards deep cover by Catherine Bryce. And she moves on to 21 and the Blaze on to 66 for 1. Doesn't look as though there's too much turn there for Charlie Knott. Might have a closer look. We're not right in line with the pitch. It's a good way over to our left. Short, turned away into the gap on the leg side this time by Sarah Bryce. And that will be another single to the total. 67 for 1, and that's another over ticked off. 13 of 50 bowled. 67 for 1 now, the Blaze.
Just a change of personnel. Freya Davies just coming off for maybe just a bit of tape by the sounds of things. Nancy Harmon doing the 12th duty on in her place. Mary Taylor looks like she's going to continue. The first over went for 6 with a missed opportunity behind the stumps, of course. Tough chance.
Yeah.
She's having deep conversation with Captain George Adams about the plans now. This is the partnership they need to break here. The Vipers. Mary Taylor then gathers some momentum towards us. She bowls to Sarah Bryce down the leg side. Will be called a wide by umpire Paul Pollard. Another 1 to the total. Don't want too many of those.
Nice carry, that one.
Yeah, it's just a bit few and far between at times, isn't it? It's going to be difficult, I think, for batters to settle in any sort of rhythm. You just don't want that one that keeps low to be dead on the stumps. Mary Taylor in again. Strong action, bowls to Bryce, who's cutting in front of square. Cutting firmly, will come back for a second. Bit of a misfield by Charlie Knott at deep cover. Allows the second to be taken. Good running from the Blaze. Sarah Bryce moves onto 35. Blaze onto 70. Their total. We're into the 14th over here at Chesterfield. Taylor bowls to Bryce, who's working at leg side this time. Splits the gap between mid-wicket and mid-on. Will collect one more to the total. A low full toss. That one from Mary Taylor. It was just clipped into the leg side nicely for a single.
It's number 15.
You're still going?
Whistles. The train, yeah, I think it's going to be going all day, isn't it?
No, I mean, you're still going
Yeah,
with
I'm
the
still going.
counting.
I still going. I may have missed the odd one.
Taylor bowls to Catherine Bryce. I thought it was going to be called a wide, but it's obviously come off the thigh pad. It's done the leg side nonetheless, but must have just clipped the thigh pad of Catherine Bryce. A good diving stop by wicketkeeper Rihanna Southby to her left this time. She's been kept busy in these first few overs. It's difficult when you're keeping behind the stumps with variable bounce as well. Taylor in again to Catherine Bryce. Short, wide outside the off stump, slashed away by Bryce to third. And another small misfield allows them to come back for a second. Good running again between the two sisters. They obviously are in sync, as you probably would expect. Another 2 to the total. 73 for one. Catherine Bryce moves on to 23. Sarah Bryce 36 not out. Two of them together. Trains back again.
We can just see it through a little gap, can't we?
Taylor again short and wide. Good fielding by Abby Norgrave at point as it was slashed into the ground by Catherine Bryce, but another 2's taken, a comfortable 2 in the end. Another good bit of running between the two sisters. 75 the score now.
Playing nicely, aren't they?
Pressure.
Yeah, they're getting
on
into
these
their
five-fish
flow,
holders.
aren't they?
They are.
Good flow.
Just need to find a way of stringing some dot balls together. Taylor at the top of our mark. Runs past the umpire towards us, bowls to Catherine Bryce, who works that leg side. Subfielder Nancy Harmon at mid-wicket mops up. And a dot to finish the 14th over. 75 for one.
Off that over. Right. Is this a batting order? Right. Paul Pritchard, the former Essex captain, who's a batting coach at the Vipers, has just handed me a batting order for ex-pros. Actually, there's a couple of current pros on there. That he think we were talking earlier, and we were joking before the game, how many ex-pros there are on this ground. You got me down at number 7. What are you giving it? 7? Well, okay. Hopefully this isn't in batting. In fact, I was obviously there was an original list, and then we scrubbed that off and dropped me down one place to 7. Anyway, here's Charlie Knott. We'll come to that in a moment. Bowls, and that's pushed out on the offside by Sarah Bryce. Right. He's got Charlotte Edwards opening, which is fair enough. Paul Pritchard opening.
Can't bat anywhere else.
Well, I suppose he'd have to. There's Charlie Knott, and that's flighted, or miscut shot there, into the hands of Rihanna Southby. John Lewis in at number 3, former Durham and Essex. Did you play together, you and John Lewis? Yeah, he did, just nodded. Mick Newell in at 4. That's a bit high. I won't tell him that because I can see him, he's on the other side of the ground. That's a nice drive over the top, over the head of Charlie Knott. And that cannons into the boundary balls just to our left in front of the pavilion. And that is 4 runs to Sarah Bryce, who moves on to 40. Paul Pollard in at 5. Paul Pollard opened for Knotts, didn't he? He shrugged his shoulders. I'm sure he did. Anyway, he's in at 5. He's dropped down the order. John Stanworth, who's our keeper, isn't he? He's our keeper in that side, yeah? Yeah, he's in at 6. John Stanworth batting ahead of me. I can't believe you've put that. Again, I can say that because he's over the other side of the ground. Anyway, John Stanworth in at 6. The total is 79 for 1 here. Oh, you've got another wicket keeper in, actually. I've just noticed. Wrapped on the pad, no run. S. Guy, who's that? Simon Guy, is he on the ground? Yorkshire. Okay, right, he's the keeper apparently. He's got you in, Charlotte, in at 10. 10?
Probably one place too high.
He's turned away square on the leg side. And Chris Guest, is that the Derbyshire player? No. Why have you put C. Guest in?
Oh, he's the head coach of the Blaze.
Oh, the head coach of the Blaze. Oh, right, yeah, okay. He's in at 11. He's obviously a bowler. Bowler, little seamer. Yep, got it.
He's very tall, man.
Right, there we go. There's our 11. So we have 11 on the ground. That's driven away on the onside by Catherine Bryce for a single. In off the boundary comes Alice Monaghan, who a feature of her fielding now is that her cap always falls down her ponytail
and off the back of her head.
And sort of falls off by the time she throws it in. She has a very long ponytail, and the cap just takes its time meandering down her hair, and then it comes off right as she lets the ball go. 81 for 1 at 15 overs gone. So what do you think to that side, Charlotte? There we go.
Well, it's strong, isn't it?
It's
got all bases covered.
Oh, and James Hibbert. Of course, James Hibbert. I've forgotten James Heyhoe, part of the coaching staff at the Vipers. So James
In at
Hibbert as
8.
well. Yeah. He's in at 8.
He's not batting above me, surely. Cool.
Charlotte Taylor has taken exception to Hibbert, James Hibbert batting in front of her on in the order.
You're saying he's definitely right about that one. Taylor in again to Catherine Bryce, works that leg side down to fine leg. McCacken comes around to her right and does the fielding. One more to the total.
But that is a hell of a side, considering we are just on a random ground in a way, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's a great.
Do you feel for Laura Marsh, who's missed out? She's on the staff at Blaze.
Oh, Laura Marsh.
Yeah, off spinner for England.
Oh.
Very successful off spinner for England.
Well, Pritch. Well, that's Pritch's fault. That.
Unless she's not here today, as Taylor bowls again to Sarah Bryce, who's driving on the up to extra cover.
Have you seen Laura Marsh here? He doesn't know who Laura Marsh is.
She is here.
She is here, right, Laura
Confirmation from
Marsh.
She's got to be in.
Laura
surely.
Marsh is here. You haven't put her on the side.
She might get in ahead of me. I mean, she was definitely more of a prolific off spinner than I ever was.
Was she?
Yeah.
Well, we'll have 2 off spinners.
So who are you benching?
Marsh as well.
Get Hibbo out.
3 off spinners.
Taylor in again to Bryce. I think she's been caught down the leg side, being given a wide by umpire Paul Pollard. And one more to the total. Half an appeal. Big appeal from Southby. Not much from the rest of the Vipers. Fielders and bowlers. Not a lot from Taylor. 83 for 1. Sarah Bryce 41 not out now. It's just to Catherine Bryce 27 not out with her. Taylor in again at the top of her mark. Bowls to Sarah Bryce, who's driving outside the off stump, and that was a bit more of an appeal from Mary Taylor, the bowler, but nothing from anyone else on that occasion as the ball goes through to the wicketkeeper. Bit of an eventful couple of balls. One down the leg side, one beating the bat on the offside. Taylor in again, past umpire Paul Pollard once again, bowls to Sarah Bryce. She's trying to cut that through the offside and gets a thick inside edge back to the bowler. Collects it on her follow through, does Mary Taylor. Another dot ball.
So I think what we're doing with the ex-pros and almost current pros now is we can almost play at 2 sides now. Whereas we
Surely you've got 22 players on that list.
We didn't
You've
think we
barely
had
got
6.
11.
We didn't think we had 6 originally.
An all ex-pros game then maybe.
Yeah.
Taylor in once more, bowls a full delivery down the leg side once more. It'll be called a wide again by the umpire. Another one to the total, 84 for 1. We're into the 16th over now here at Chesterfield, a sunny Chesterfield. Bit of a breeze running from left to right as we look across the ground. See the trees fluttering away. Fluttering, is that the right word? Probably not. Blowing. A full delivery from Taylor on the pads of Sarah Bryce. And no run conceded off that delivery either. So at the end of the 16th over the Blaze, they're going nicely, 84 for 1.
Yeah, 3 runs off that over. Mick Newell's making his way over here. I don't think he's happy with that batting order, Pritch. He's walking over here with purpose. Actually, he's just gone behind the tent, so that's phew, we can breathe a sigh of relief. I think he was going to scrutinise that batting order.
Well, there's another delivery. It wasn't the end of the over. Another
Oh,
miscalculation by the umpires. Taylor has one more. She's in once more then to Sarah Bryce, who's driving into the offside. A good piece of fielding by Abby Norgrove at point. And they do collect one more to the total. So at the end of the 16th, it'll be 85 for 1. The Bryce sisters together in fourth. 42 to Sarah and 27 to Catherine.
I was just going to show him the batting order, but he's just walked off.
He doesn't want to see it.
No, I'm not surprised. So 85 for 1. Teresa Gray's run out in the 6th over. Good piece of fielding by Charlie, not in the covers. And she went for 6, 28 for 1. Meet me all. We've got an ex-pros team. We've got an ex-pros team batting order now. We've managed to find loads of people, courtesy of Paul Pritchard, who's written out the batting order. I'm not quite sure anybody's totally happy with it. So he's got Charlotte Edwards, Paul Pritchard, JJ Lewis. You're in at 4. Is that?
Not T20, is it?
Well, we call it 50 overs. Would that be about right? Paul Pollard. Didn't he open? Yeah, I thought he opened. Yeah, I see. Pritchard's got that wrong. John Stanworth. John Stanworth ahead of me. Well, can you tell? Here comes... who we got here bowling now? Because Ava Lee with her off-spin. And it is Sarah Bryce currently batting. That ball goes out on the offside. We've got Charlotte Taylor with a bit of off-spin. Laura Marsh with you guys is here as well. Yeah. What a side we've got. James Hibbert off-spinner as well. What a side. That's driven out into the covers. Emily Windsor is on the boundary away to PCA Masters, I think you're right. Yeah. But that is a good side on this ground, isn't it? That's actually here today. Amazing. 86 for 1 of the Blaze.
Chief selector.
Well, Pritchard's assumed that for some reason. Ava Lee then bowls, and that's a miscut off the front foot by Catherine Bryce.
I thought she might have left her crease there, Catherine Bryce, but she must have kept that back foot grounded behind the line. Southby was quick to take the bells off, but...
Is he here as well? Wayne Noon? Oh my word, we've got Wayne Noon, match referee. Wow. Yeah, well, we're stocked. Now, there's a lovely shot over the top. That's beautiful. That could go all the way. Oh, one bounce. Just goes to the left of our tent that we're in. 6 runs it is. Yep, it's just gone over the rope. The rope is a couple of metres inside the boundary boards. And there is a lovely shot there by Catherine Bryce.
Yeah, she's batting with confidence, and she just lifted it really over the infield. Brings in a change of field. Freya Davies comes just in front of us at long on to protect that shot.
Turned away on the onside. More runs here. Be a single. I hope there's no more ex-pros here. I won't get in the side. At 93 for 1. Well, Pritchard has assumed the role of... Who's captain? Charlotte Edwards. All right, okay. He's handed it over already. Because he's already had some criticism over the batting order, so he's already handed over the reins. 93 for 1. Catherine Bryce on 34. Cuts Ava Lee away on the offside for a single. These two once more, like they did in the Charlotte Edwards Cup final at Derby a couple of weeks ago, combining nicely as a pairing. And they have moved the score on from 28 for 1 in the 6th when they came together to 94 for 1 at the end of the 17th.
Yeah, they're batting nicely, aren't they? The two of them building a good partnership together. Know each other's games inside out. Played a lot of their cricket together, obviously here at the Blaze and for Scotland. So know how each other tick.
Yeah.
Know when the other one might be struggling, for example, when one of them might need to pick up the pace, or just to be a supporting role when one may take a more of an aggressive position in the partnership. Dangerous one when they get going, one that needs to be broken. And a change of bowling at the Lake End. George Adams replacing Mary Taylor, who's bowled 2 overs so far, but expensive. 2 overs for 14. Adams in again to Sarah Bryce, who works that leg side. And a good bit of fielding at mid-wicket by Abby Norgrove. Adams bowled 3 overs earlier on, went for 14, opened the bowling from the pavilion end. She bowls to Sarah Bryce, who's cutting that up and over cover. It's a good shot, actually. Emily Windsor racing round to her left does the fielding. Will stop the boundary, but won't stop the 2. 2 more to Bryce's total. She's into the late 40s. 48 now for her. Was that 46? It might be 46. Quick scoreboard, Adams in again past the umpire, driving up to long on is Sarah Bryce. Collects 1 more to her total. She moves to 47. The Blaze closing down on their 3-figure score, 97 for 1. Adams waits for a change in field, so mid-wicket is now being left open for Catherine Bryce. And the reverse being protected, I would assume. She's in again, driving up too long on. It's a bit of an inside edge, just Catherine Bryce, but collects 1 more to her total. She moves to 35. 98 for 1, the Blaze. Adams in again, bowls to Sarah Bryce. She's pushed back on her crease a little bit there and finds Abby Norgrove at mid-wicket. The mid-wicket is in for Sarah Bryce and out for Catherine Bryce. The 2 changes that we're seeing. That one's worked leg side by Sarah Bryce, clipped round the corner. McCacken comes in off the deep square leg boundary to do the fielding. And they collect 1 more to the total. 99 for 1, the Blaze.
They're in a very strong position here, aren't they?
First wicket fell at 28, so they put on 70, 71 so far, these 2. And it has been called over. I thought it was, actually. I thought there might have been another. The umpires can't quite count to 6 at the moment.
Struggling a bit.
They are a little bit, so that's the end of the 18th. 99 for 1, the Blaze.
7 runs off that over. Mentioning earlier about the start the Blaze had to this competition. They lost their first 3 games. Horrible start for them. They lost by 78 runs to the Central Sparks at Edgbaston. They then lost by 8 wickets to the Stars in Leicester, and then by 7 wickets to the Sunrisers in Chelmsford. That followed a win in Scarborough over the Northern Diamonds, but then another loss, a close one against the Thunder at Trent Bridge, only a 1 wicket there, and they've won their last 2 against Western Storm and the South East Stars. So here's Ava Lee then, with her off breaks and bowls, and nice length ball there to Sarah Bryce, and plays that back to the bowler. Ava Lee, still only 18 years of age.
Yeah, went away in the winter with the under-19s, England under-19s to Sri Lanka. Abby Norgrove and Mary Taylor all went on that tour.
Bowls again, and cut away, and it's in the air. Oh, that's a good catch. At point, and she's gone. Sarah Bryce goes for 48, 99 for 2. What a catch that was.
Brilliant diving catch from Mary Taylor to her right-hand side, got low, and threw the ball up in the air with glee as they break the partnership between these 2. The Bryce sisters is an important one to break. They just put on 71 for that, the 2nd wicket, and I think the Vipers will be glad to see the back of Sarah Bryce at this stage. So another informed batter though comes out for the Blaze. They keep coming at you at the moment. They scored 318 in their last game against the Stars at Beckenham. It's a bit of a road there, but 318 is a mammoth score. Marie Kelly, the new batter, comes out at number 4 for the Blaze. She made 50 in her last outing, 52 against the South East Stars. 107 runs in the competition at 15, so want to be bettering those numbers, considering 52 of them have come in 1 game across the 7 that she's played so far.
I was just watching the replay of that catch by Mary Taylor. It's one of those where it could quite easily bounce as you hit the deck, and you could just see her reaction. You could just see her reaction when she realised that the ball stuck in her hand, and he went, whoa. And I nearly went, whoa, there as well, but we're okay. Thank you.
Charlotte Edwards comes over here and causes carnage and then leaves again. Sounds like her. Trips over all the wiring in front of us.
We're okay. That's it. Yeah, I could tell that Charlotte Edwards enjoyed that one as well. And yeah, she just, you know, when she just lied there, and then the camera panned in on her, and you could see her. She realised the ball stayed in the hand, and it was there all the time, and she realised she'd actually caught it. That's played back to Ava Lee by Marie Kelly, and then there was that, whoa, look at that.
Almost amazement.
Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant stuff. 99 for 2, Kelly facing Ava Lee. Bowls, and Kelly's forward. Nice, accurate stuff here from Ava Lee. Needs to
just need to
a
put
bit
some
of pressure on the
yeah.
new batter. That's why I don't know.
It's like you're in my brain then.
Well, we both think the same way.
Both think like bowlers.
We do, yes. That's remarkable, really, considering we are and were. It's misfield extra cover. Oh dear, Frey Davis. Disappointment on her face, I could tell from here. That should have been stopped. So it allows Marie Kelly to get off the marker. That's 100 up for the Blaze in the 19th over.
Well, you say that you're a bowler, Kev, but you failed to mention earlier on, before we were on air this morning, one of the first things you said to me, I've got 100 here. It's the last time I've been here, I got 100 here. So you really should be up the order in this team. You're really quite... if we're playing this game at Chesterfield...
Yeah, you see, I don't think Pritchard's realised that. And he hasn't done his homework. And that's a nice little ramp shot down to fine leg. Because where he put me at number 7, if he'd realised the last time I played on this ground I got 100, he might think differently, but he's passed those duties on to Charlotte Edwards now, hasn't he? Selection duties. Yes, it was, yeah. Do you know what? I thought it was the one and only time I played here. I actually played it twice, I didn't realise. And in the other game we got a half century.
You're a great average at Chesterfield.
I should have just signed to play here only. Yeah. I don't know if Chesterfield Cricket Club had a pro in those days. I should have just signed here.
Oh gosh, yeah, I don't know.
So, 101 for 2 then. The last batter, Sarah Bryce, making 48. Good innings from her. Couldn't quite keep the ball down as she cut that away on the offside.
Georgia Adams in once more for her 5th over. Reverse sweep attempted by Catherine Bryce. And a good appeal from the Vipers clan, but turned down by umpire Paul Pollard. Looks like it was just missing leg stump for me. She's in again, gets her overs quickly, bowls to Catherine Bryce, driving up to long on, plays that one nicely, all the way along the ground. Gets one more to her total. She'll be wanting to rebuild now with Kelly, her new partner. When a partnership is well established and you just feel like there's nothing that can break it, and then as soon as that wicket falls, you just got to rein it back in again and build once more. Just look to rotate the strike, at least to take the pressure off your partner. You don't want to get into a string of dot balls and put pressure on your partner to score when they've just come in. So she needs to be that anchor for Kelly at the moment. Adams bounds past the umpire once more, driving is Kelly into the leg side, finds Norgrove at mid-wicket. That mid-wicket is back in for the new batter, plugging that gap on the leg side. Adams in once more to Kelly. He tries to turn that leg side off a straight line and hits so high on the thigh pad. And no run is scored. Malone goes back at the end of the over just to try and keep Kelly on strike, I would assume, for the next one. Adams with a little skip at the start, bowls to Kelly, a bit short and wide, and cuts that through cover on the offside. Emily Windsor out there does the fielding, one more to the total. Kelly will keep the strike. It's not the end of the over, now I can't count, good job. Between us we're doing brilliantly, although it's not my job to count the balls, I suppose. It is the umpire's job, of course. 103 for 2. We're into the 20th here. That mid-wicket comes out and they plug this gap at 3rd. I assume for the reverse sweep that Bryce has played on a couple of occasions so far. Adams bowls to Bryce. Good length delivery, and driving into the covers is Catherine Bryce. Runs on the shot, but always does a good bit of fielding at extra cover, but they will come through for the single nonetheless. Takes the score to 104 for 2, and we're through 20 overs here. 2 wickets to fall so far for the Blaze. Teresa Graves was run out early in the 6th over, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th over for 6. Good piece of fielding by Charlie Knott. And the second wicket was to fall just a short while ago. Sarah Bryce was caught in the point in her right hand, outstretched right hand of Mary Taylor. She went for 48. And the score was 99. So we're now 104 for 2. 30 overs left to go.
So Ava Lee continues from the pavilion end. teenage off-spinner bowls, and that's worked out to mid-wicket by Catherine Bryce, and there is no run. So Ava Lee has 2 overs, 1 for 11. Mary Taylor 3 overs, none for 18 with her seamers. Charlie Knott 3 overs, none for 21 with her off breaks from this pavilion end a little earlier. Bit of bounce there, and Bryce can do no more than just play it back to the bowler. Georgia Elwes bowling for the first time this season, having been protecting her back. She's bowled 2 overs, none for 14. Freya Davis 5 overs, none for 15 from the far end. As Ava Lee bowls, and again it's driven back to a nice and straight arrow straight bowling here from Lee, and Georgia Adams opening up, and who's back on at the lake end. It's 5 overs, none for 22. Those are the bowling figures as they stand currently. Ava Lee into her 3rd over. Bowls. Bryce on the back foot, pulls that away on the onside. Oh, it's gone through the hands of is that Georgia Elwes there? And, horrible throw there. What's happened there? That throw was all over the place.
I think it got a really horrible bounce, actually. I think the direction, by the sort of reaction of the Vipers camp, it was more that the throw was accurate, but the horrible kick up off the surface took the ball wide of Ava Lee and made it maybe look worse than it was. I could be just being nice, but it does seem like that from the reaction.
The bowls swept away on the onside by Catherine Bryce. Will pick up a single. She moves on to 41, 107 for 2. We must ask you, because you've done so many commentaries this year, and it's been great, actually. It's been great having Charlotte Taylor doing lots of commentaries, not just the Vipers, but also Hampshire men as well. But, I mean, of course, at the end of the day, you're down as a player.
I am.
So what is the latest with you as Lee bowls, and Kelly just plays that back to Lee? Good over that, 107 for 2, 3 runs off it, 21 gone. So where are you with you and your injuries?
So I'm currently waiting on another, so I had a blood patch, which is, you know, for anyone that doesn't know, is basically where they inject some of my own blood back into my spine to try and heal a hole that I've got in my spine. So I've got a fluid leak, which means that I feel fine day to day, but if I was to then increase my breathing rate, i.e. get out of breath running or playing cricket or whatever it is, or move my arms rapidly around my head as if I was bowling, then I could be in some discomfort. So no cricket for me means that I'm waiting on another blood patch to try and heal that hole in my spine, which is due on the 28th of August. So I won't be playing cricket in 2024 at this rate. As Adams starts a new over from the lake end, she bowls to Catherine Bryce, who's driving into the offside, and there is no run. So yeah, a bit disappointing for me not to have played any cricket this year, but I'm hoping to be back. Hopefully when the hole in my spine is repaired. A shorter one from Adams this time is cut on the back foot by Bryce, and a good bit of fielding by Elwes at extra cover. Can't stop the single though. They'll pick up one more, 108 for 2. But yeah, I'm getting there slowly is
Good.
Basically the answer. Adams in again, bowls a full delivery to Marie Kelly, works that leg side, a good bit of fielding on the 45 by Mary Taylor, who smothers that into the ground, gets the throw away quickly. Adams does get through her over extremely quickly. She's at the top of her mark once again, bounds past the umpire, bowls to Marie Kelly, who's hitting that over the top of the bowler, actually a bit wide of her through mid-off. It will go for a boundary. It's good use of the feet by Marie Kelly, good positive footwork. 112 for 2. Kelly moves on to 6. There's a release of pressure, really, that she might be feeling on herself personally. There shouldn't be too much pressure on the score because they're scoring nicely, the Blaze. 112 for 2 in the 22nd, but maybe just personally trying to get her innings underway. And again, the Vipers struggling to string some dot balls together to create some pressure here. Adams in again to Kelly, bowls a full toss, low full toss driven up to mid-off, and they scamper through for a quick single. Kelly moves to 7. Just a couple of field changes, some protection now behind the bat for Catherine Bryce. A shorter one from Adams was hit uppishly as Bryce tries to drive through the offside, but George Elwes is there at extra cover to stop it. And that is the end of the 22nd over. 22 overs gone, 113 for 2.
Saw a little early on the pictures of some people wandering around with a couple of ice creams. It's that sort of weather. It's not hot, and there is a bit of a breeze, but it is ice cream weather.
They're just gathering over
Quite
there,
nice,
aren't they?
isn't it? And it's interesting because this is a park. You do get sort of people wandering through with buggies and little children and families sort of wandering through. The run rate here at Queen's Park, which started very quickly, has been sort of starting to flatline a little bit more. They were second over went for, well, first over went for 8, second over went for 5. They were 40 off 6. So a fairly quick start by Teresa Grays and then both the Bryce sisters. Bryce now has, Catherine Bryce has 42 and 45. There we are. People eating ice creams, enjoying the sunshine here in Chesterfield. And Elvis is back in the attack. Lovely, pretty drive up to mid-off by Marie Kelly, holding the pose.
Stand and deliver type stuff.
Yeah. Nice to see Georgia Elvis back bowling.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
So first overs of the summer for Georgia Elvis with a right on medium paces. Always bowls accurately. Quick single out in the covers. They have to hurry here. Bail's come off, but actually in the end, it was reasonably comfortable.
Well, they set off straight away, wasn't that? Was the key. Just both of them being on the same page and setting off straight away to ensure that they get home safely. They've run well, haven't they?
Yeah, gosh, yeah, they have actually. 114 for 2, and it's Catherine Bryce back on strike. As Elvis comes in again, down the leg side. Now, what's that hit? Has that hit anything? I think it has. Maybe the pad. As the ball makes its way out down to fine leg. And, yeah, oh, there's Amy Clark again, lifting that leg to reasonable height. I don't think she's quite reached the same dizzy height as she did the very first time she signalled her leg by. But she's up there. 115 for 2 brings Marie Kelly back on strike. Oh, Kelly whips that away through mid-wicket. Lovely shot there. Alice Monaghan's got work to do here. Can't quite get there. Puts the dive in, rolls a few times along the turf. And that's a good shot. Seriously good shot there from Marie Kelly. Moves on to 12, 119 for 2.
A little bit leg stump line. Elvis just maybe showing that she hasn't bowled as much. Well, she hasn't bowled at all in this season so far. So just getting into the swing of things. Match day bowling is always different to bowling at batters in nets and bowling at different people.
100%. Comes in again, runs away from us and bowls. Kelly gets a length ball, drives it back to Elvis, fields it with one hand. Marie Kelly playing her 20th game in the Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy for the Blaze. She was one of several players in this side that were also with Lightning before they changed a couple of seasons ago. She also played for Central Sparks in this competition. Played 13 matches for Central Sparks. Oh, player missing outside the off stump. That's a good delivery. End of the over. 119 for 2 then, and there are 23 overs gone, which means there are 27 overs remaining. I think 2 more overs and we get a bit of a drinks break, don't we? Well, the players do.
Yeah, I was
sure
going
we
to say,
do.
We could.
Sure.
We could.
Not sure we're included.
One of those,
in that.
when talking about Marie Kelly playing for the Spark, she made 100, famous 100 down at, I say famous 100. It was famous in terms of, it's a well-remembered one, by me especially, down in Hove. And she played for the Central Sparks in a first year of the Charlotte, I think it was the first year of the Charlotte Woods Cup. It could have been, I think it was in 2021.
That's the first year, yeah.
And
Did you play in that one?
Yeah, I remember it. She carted us to all places that day. Did Marie Kelly. Played brilliantly well though, down in Hove.
Couldn't look that one up actually. Just to remind you, I'm sure you don't want to be reminded.
Not overly, because it'd probably be my figures, so it'd probably look quite ugly from that day, but...
I think everybody's was.
But there we go. Change of bowling then from the Lake End. Georgia Adams finds a better option than herself. She feels. She bowled 6 overs so far, Georgia Adams. None for 28. Throws the ball to Charlie Knott, overseas Charlie Knott. 11 wickets in the competition so far, and bowls to Bryce. sweeping well in front of square up to wide long on, and they'll come back for a second. 2 more to her total. She moves to 44.
I think we've had a coffee break on that train because I haven't heard that whistle for a little while. That's the 17th time we've heard that now.
Thought it was going to be way more than that, but they were setting off. They were every sort of 30 seconds or so. Not in again to Catherine Bryce, who props that up. A bit of a push into the leg side, and it got a bit big on her, did Catherine Bryce, and she gets fortunate that it doesn't drop into the hands of the bowler.
The figures were all right on that day. Weren't too bad.
Oh, were they not?
I'll come back to that.
Thanks. I had worse memories than that. Not spins the ball in her hands, then bounds past the umpire, bowls a short delivery that Bryce is on the back foot cutting out to the fielder in the covers. She's coming back for a second as there's a bit of a hesitation of throw by Emily Windsor out there. Come back for 2 more. It's a big playing surface, square of the wicket here at Chesterfield. Runs well. And they might comfortably get back for a second. Bryce moves on to 46. Her highest score in the competition so far this year. She's on the back foot this time, pulling out to deep mid wicket. Alice Monaghan runs round to her left. There's a brilliant bit of fielding to only keep that to 1. 124 for 2 the Blaze. Charlie Knott waits patiently, composing her thoughts. Runs past the umpire now, bowls a full toss actually to Marie Kelly, who drives that pleasantly up to mid-off. Ava Lee does the fielding there. They will get a single though, nonetheless. Marie Kelly moves to 13 now. Another partnership building for the Blaze between these two now. Charlie Knott bowls again. Bryce gets forward and well on top of the ball, works it leg side. Runs the first one hard, but can only take 1. There's good fielding between the 2 in the deep. Adams and Monaghan combine to squeeze that one down and keep it to a single. The end of the 24th over, almost halfway through here. This Blaze innings, they're 126 for 2. Catherine Bryce nearing another half century for her this year, building on 4, I think it was 5 in the end that she scored in the Charlotte Edwards Cup. And Marie Kelly with her on 13. This partnership now worth 27.
Well, yeah, and also what we mustn't forget, and it's always a good time to bring this up, we must remember the very first edition of this competition back in 2020, the final at Edgbaston, you were player of the match.
I was. 6 for 34.
Yeah, against the Northern Diamonds.
Just remember I was so poorly that day. I don't know how I actually managed to bowl.
Really?
Yeah, I was really quite unwell.
Well bowled.
So yeah, I've done all right, really.
Just think how many you would have got had you been fully fit. Elwes bowls, and that's Catherine Bryce playing it back to the bowl. She's 48 not out. Wow, you'd have got ball 10 through if you'd have been fully fit.
Yeah, I think everyone was saying that, you know, it was COVID. If you got COVID, no, I had the symptoms but no result. No, you know, I tested negative. But then my tonsils are so swollen. I think I had tonsillitis, really, undiagnosed.
Elwes bowls, Bryce gets a length ball, pushes that up to mid-off.
But I was literally just like couldn't breathe all day.
Wow.
Running around, well, barely running around, trying to avoid that at all costs. It does help that I just sort of wandered in off a few paces to bowl my off spin. Was kind of a bit helpful. Not like I was a big, tall, fast bowler.
Yeah, 6 for 36, eh? I remember it very, very clearly, as I'm sure you do. That's played into the gap on the offside. So Bryce moves on to 49 now. 127 for 2. Now that game down at Hove that you were talking about in the Charlotte Edwards Cup, 2021, August 2021. It was a hot day as well, I think.
It was
if I remember right. Southern Vipers, 162 for 4. Georgia Adams, not out 88, carried a bat through the 20 overs. Central Sparks, 163 for 4 after 19 overs, flicked away by Kelly out on the onside. And it's Emily Windsor now doing the boundary fielding away to our right. It was Alice Monaghan. Keeps it down to 2. Kelly moves on to 15. Marie Kelly, 100 not out off just 53 deliveries with 18 fours and a 6. Charlotte Taylor, 4 overs, 2 for 36.
That's not too
It's
bad.
all right, no, it's okay. Georgia Elwes, who's bowling currently, that's turned away by Kelly for a single, moves on to 16. That goes out on the offside. Well, 3 overs, none for 42, so she was the most expensive. So Marie Kelly, I think she is one. Oh, there we are. That's number 18.
I can't believe you're so heightened to it.
It's nice. It's
I've
just a
switched
nice
that part of my brain off, I think.
I think it's lovely. It's just something you don't get at a normal ground where you're getting this sort of cricket, or first-class cricket, of course, with the men. It's played out towards extra cover by Catherine Bryce. And that will be the end of the over. She remains on 49. So we are 25 overs done. And 25 overs to do. The Blaze in a still got a good position here on 130 for 2, with Catherine Bryce 49 not out and 16 to Marie Kelly. I think I'm right in saying she's one of only 2 or 3 women that have got 100 in the 20 over competition.
Yeah, now you're going to test me of who else has.
I did see it written down, which is why I remember off the top of my head it's either 2 or 3. And I can't remember the others, but yeah, Marie Kelly, one of those. Which is not a mean feat, that, isn't it? That's a pretty good effort, that.
It definitely is. A drinks break being taken here at Chesterfield. A sunny Chesterfield. 130 for 2 the score. 2 wickets to fall so far. Teresa Graves was run out by Charlie Knott in the 6th. And Sarah Bryce caught at point by Mary Taylor, diving to her right. Brilliant catch. She fell for 48 and the score was on 99. So now the score 130 for 2. These two establishing another partnership. This one worth 31 so far. And they've got some batting to come. Heather Graham, Ella Claridge scored 71 in the last game. Josie Groves can bat. And then we're sort of into the bowlers. You see Hyam can bat as well, but they've got depth to come as well, so Vipers just need to keep a lid on things as best they can in the second half of this game. Don't let it get away from them. Try and take a few more wickets, put the pressure on this middle to lower order that wouldn't have seen an awful lot of batting in the last game, as their top order was so dominant. They made 318 against the Stars, beat the Stars comfortably. Heather Graham taking 6 wickets to keep the Stars. And they won by 133 runs via Duckworth Lewis. It was the Blazers' highest ever List A score last week, so they wouldn't trying to keep them nowhere near that if they can, the Vipers.
Yeah. That is a lot, isn't it? Over 300. Wow. You kind of always think in this cricket anything over 250 is a big score,
Yeah,
isn't it?
definitely.
There we go. There's another whistle on the train.
If you've just tuned in, by the way, I just want to clarify why Kevin James is counting. It's because there is a little land train that's running over the far side of the ground. I assume it's just running from the park here to our left. We're on the main ground in front of the pavilion here, and then there's sort of a park over to our left, over the other side of the trees. And there's a lake over the back of the trees in front of us. And I assume that little land train just goes from the park to the lake, maybe to the river and back again. And every so often we see hear its little honk of its. Does it have a horn?
It's a whistle, was it?
A whistle,
I don't
yeah.
know what you call them. Yeah,
Don't know. But that is what Kevin James is counting. We'll be counting throughout the day how many honks or whistles of the train we can hear, or he can hear, because I've tuned out to it now. Yeah, I've tuned out. And that is, if you hear him just shout a random number, there's nothing to do with the cricket. Yeah. It's just the number of whistles of the train, nothing to do with the cricket, so don't get confused.
Well, I've got some more information about that train.
Okay, come on then.
Yeah, our man on the who's looking after the picture feed has just raced down to tell me, and it's probably the biggest news, and it's probably the most important fact we'll read out today. That train is called Puffin Billy.
No, it's not.
It is. He's just told me. Puffin Billy, it's called.
Well, one of the biggest Southern Vipers fans is Spin Billy.
Yes, Spin Billy. I remember Spin Billy. So do you reckon
if Spin Billy's here, he's probably not, because he's probably at he's probably at school. It's Friday, yeah. And but if he's listening in school, which he shouldn't be, or watching, then I'm disappointed that you're not here, Billy, having a ride on Puff Billy. But that's great.
Yeah, that's lovely. Spin Billy. Now, yes, was it the end of season do last year? Vipers and Hampshire, or the year before?
No, last year.
Where he made an appearance on the stage, Spin Billy. He got a little award, didn't he? Yeah. I haven't seen him since then.
Have you not? No, he's been at most of the games.
Has he?
He was up at Derby at the finals day. I was chatting to his mum.
Yeah.
Just loves cricket, loves the Vipers, loves the Southern Brave, loves Hampshire men, just loves all thing all things, or all cricket that comes out of the utility bowl by the sounds of
That's
things.
great. No, he's a real enthusiast, and
But
having never met him before, and everybody said this is Spin Billy, and I think, did I interview him or did I ask him after the dinner? I can't remember what it was. I said, can you actually confirm, is your first name actually Spin? Which obviously it wasn't.
No, his name's William. I don't
Is
actually
it
know his
William?
last name. But yeah, just famously on Instagram and other social, mainly Instagram, and definitely for us, Spin Billy, famous Spin Billy. Shout out for him. So we're getting ready to reconvene here after the drinks break. Freya Davies is going to come back from the lake end. She bowled all her overs from that end at the start of the day. She bowled 5 of them, bowled nicely. 5 overs, none for 15. Be wanting to take a wicket, though, if she can. She's going to be bowling to Marie Kelly, who waits patiently for her. She runs past the umpire and bowls a back of her length delivery that Kelly works into the gap on the offside. A sparing dive from Nancy Harmon, who's on the pitch for Georgia Elwes by the looks of things.
Yes,
Just
he's just
taking a
off.
little 5-minute break.
We should confirm, and we should have done it during the break, but just to confirm, on commentary right now is myself, Kevin James, and Southern Vipers off-spinner Charlotte Taylor.
That's
Little
me.
name check.
Davies in once more, bowls to Catherine Bryce. That keeps low. I don't know if it's an inside edge or not. It comes down to the fielder at fine leg. Ella McCacken comes in, does the fielding. A horrible throw back to the wicketkeeper, who shakes her head in disappointment. Hands on hips. They get through for another single. Takes a total to 132. No signal from umpire Paul Pollard, so I assumed it was an inside edge. It did keep very low outside the off stump, as it has done a few times in this innings so far. Davies in again, bowls to Kelly this time, who's defending back to her in a follow through. No run taken.
Just having a look at Freya Davies. I think you mentioned it earlier, didn't you? 4 wickets in this competition so far. Come at 50 apiece.
She's in again here, short delivery, and it's scooted along the surface. It didn't bounce at all. Those are the ones that you don't want to hit on your pad, and there was an appeal from the Vipers team in the field, half an appeal, as Kelly tries to sweep it in the end into the leg side. It hit low on the pad. If you're watching the live picture feed, there's about to be a replay.
It's going down, isn't it?
Davies bowls again, once more to Marie Kelly. Flicks that off her pads this time to the fielder at fine leg. Throw comes in nicely. One more to the total. Another one to Marie Kelly. She moves to 18. Catherine Bryce just loitering on 49, has been for a while. She finds herself on strike now. Freya Davies has ball in hand. Turns at the top of her mark. With a little bit of a gallop at the start. Runs towards us. Bowls to Bryce, who's defending on the up. Back to her and a follow through. Another good over from Freya Davies. Only the single from it, or 2 singles from it, should I say. 133. Must have been 3 from it. 133 for 2. 26 overs gone. Catherine Bryce still on 49. I hate it when you're just still on 49. I say I hate it like it's happened to me an awful lot in my career. It hasn't, of course. I've only
What's your top score then?
179 not out, but it was for Southampton University.
So Ava Lee, the 1 wicket taker so far, 1 for 14 for her. That's the other run out. Those are the 2 wickets that have fallen. Got an email here from Neil Halsworth from Explorer Coffees, who's a lovely guy and has brought some coffee up to the commentary box down south earlier this season, which we've enjoyed.
I haven't yet tried it,
Have
actually.
you not tried it?
No.
Oh, there's, other coffee companies available, of course.
He would say other commentary teams also available, of
Which he
course.
does on the T-shirt that he sent us, which is quite funny, on some of the mugs as well, which is absolutely hilarious. You can get in touch, actually, sunandcricket@gmail.com if you want to email us. Charlie Knott's into the attack, and that's driven and half stopped at mid-wicket, but still coming through for a run anyway. Marie Kelly moves on to 19, 134 for 2. He says he's live streaming the game. Yes, you can pick us up on the picture feed, which is going out on the Blaze Twitter feed and also the Southern Vipers Twitter feed. Also, there'll be another way, which I'll double check in a minute, but those are the easiest ways that I can think of off the top of my head. We're also on the BBC Sport website, and that's going on the leg side, called a wide, late call from umpire Amy Clark. He's live streaming the game on the picture feed. He says those ice creams did look jolly nice. I can't confirm because we haven't had one as yet, but one or two others around the ground have been enjoying them. Again, it's flighted and it's driven through square. There's the half century for Catherine Bryce. And that has come off 58 deliveries.
First one this year, only her second game. Of course, I mentioned earlier that the two Bryce sisters missed the whole of the first half of this competition for the Charlotte Edwards Cup. They were away on international duty with Scotland. Maybe that's why they were missing them in their first few games, where they had a tough start.
That's right, they're losing their first three. Low full toss, hitting the air. It's gone between mid-off and mid-on, but it will be stopped before it goes all the way to the boundary by Georgia Elwes, away to our left. And that's 2 to Marie Kelly, moves on to 21, 138 for 2. Neil goes on to say, surprised not more inroads into the Blaze batting order. They've actually batted quite well here. Is Monaghan likely to bowl following her time away from injury? That's a good question. It's driven hard towards mid-wicket. More runs here from Marie Kelly. More work to do for Georgia Elwes. There is Alice Monaghan. Does really well. Slides into that. Palms it back to Elwes, who throws it in. That's a good bit of fielding between the two of them. Combining nicely there. Just away to our right.
Yeah, she did well, didn't she, Alice Monaghan? To a probably weaker, she has a weaker side, left-hand side. Covered the ground quickly.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I don't know whether Alice Monaghan will bowl. That's played back to the bowler. I would have thought his wicket was a little bit up and down. Alice Monaghan bowls a little bit quicker than the others. Might have been worth a try. I don't know if she's fully fit like that, but as I said, I did see her a couple of days ago, and I said, "You fit?" She says, "Yeah, I'm definitely. I'm okay now." That's played back to the bowler once more by Kelly. That's the end of the over. But I think she might have been worth, or might be worth, an over or two. I think when you've got a wicket that's playing a little up and down, quicker the bowlers, the harder they are. Paul Barnes has emailed sonofcricket@gmail.com. Paul, thank you very much for this. The only women to score hundreds are Marie Kelly and Emma Lamb.
Right.
That's right, Emma Lamb. Listening to you and Charlotte, as this is the first game I've missed this season. Paul Barnes usually watches, and he's picking us up here. Hopefully you feel like you're here. Puffin Billy hasn't been heard. Although we can see Puffin Billy. Just appears in that little gap between the trees. There we go. The 21st
like
two to the horn.
Freya Davies in once more. 7th over. It's a back of a length delivery. It's driven on the up. Beautiful shot by Catherine Bryce. She's seeing the ball brilliantly at the moment. And picks up 4 more as that races away from us. And hits the boundary boards at the far end of the ground.
Now, there's another little stat for you. She was obviously previously with Lightning. And, when they converted over to the Blaze. But actually for the Blaze, this is her highest score in this competition with a Blaze, under the Blaze banner.
Right, okay, got you.
She got a much bigger score for Lightning, 162. But this is her highest for the Blaze.
Davies in again, bowls to Bryce. She's driving nicely, but with no real timing. Only finds Ava Lee at mid-off. There is no run taken. Of course, Blaze have only been active in their current name for 2 years. Second season of the Blaze. Before they were, of course, Lightning Cricket. Davies in again, bowls, full delivery, driven nicely through the covers by Catherine Bryce. It's racing away from Emily Windsor. It'll race away for 4. It's a lovely shot, probably the shot of the day for me, all the way along the floor. Too good from Catherine Bryce, picks up 4 more. She moves to 58, 148 for 2, the Blaze now. We're into the 28th over of this, the first innings at Chesterfield. They're setting a score here. They like to do that, do the Blaze. I think they're a team that like to set totals, even small ones, but still back their bowling unit, which is probably their stronger of their two suits, I would think.
Yeah.
To bowl any team out. So anything that you can get, the bigger the better. The strength's in their bowling. It's a real dangerous time for the Vipers if Catherine Bryce gets going. And that's a good length delivery from Freya Davies. Rushed Catherine Bryce a little bit for pace there. Is it possibly jagged back into or off the seam. It's hard to tell from this angle.
Well, this is the 5th time they've batted first in the 8th match in this year's competition.
Yeah, they do prefer to bat first in this competition. George Adams just goes up to Freya Davis, has a word with her. She's in again, running towards us, bowls to Catherine Bryce, driving nicely up to Captain George Adams at mid-on. Comes round to her left to do the fielding, no run taken. Did you just write down that toot at the horn?
Yes, that was the 22nd time we've heard that since we started the game.
Change of field then, third comes up inside the circle, long on's going back. George Adams, the captain, puts herself back at long on. Freya Davies comes in again, bowls, slower ball this time, driving through the covers. It's Catherine Bryce, picks up one more. Throw comes in from Emily Windsor, who's patrolling the boundary out there. 28 overs gone, 149 for 2. Catherine Bryce, 59, not out. Getting well supported by Marie Kelly, 23, not out.
Yeah, the Vipers have to be careful here because they're on course for another 300 score here. Just over the halfway mark, and they're halfway there already, and they have 8 wickets in hand. Catherine Bryce going along very nicely indeed. Sarah Bryce made 48 off 64. She was the second wicket to go in the 19th over. That was 99 for 2. But even though this wicket's a little bit up and down, it does have a nice bit of pace on it, doesn't it? This outfield is very quick. So, a serene setting here in the sunshine in Chesterfield, and we're very close to the town centre here. A lovely reverse sweep there. It's actually gone out towards extra cover off the bat of Catherine Bryce. Gone on that very early. Charlie Knott operating from the pavilion end, our commentary end.
Been a bit expensive so far, Charlie Knott.
She hasn't she? 36 she's conceded at the start of her 6th over.
She's got the most amount of wickets for the Vipers though, 11 in this competition.
She's had a good all-round competition, hasn't she, really, as she has in the, or did, in the Charlotte Edwards. That's driven up to mid-on. Georgia Ellis again fielding in front of us. So it's 151 then, so past the 150 mark now, the Blaze. Bryce next to face, he's on 60. That's not bowls, that's flighted, and that's driven, and Elvis will run in off the boundary. 152 for 2. It does sound like somebody's on a loudspeaker as well, don't they, in the distance?
I think there's a Derbyshire festival something going on today.
Oh, is there?
Let me just have a little look.
Ah. Not bowls, slightly quicker. Oh, that's a good diving stop to her left. Certainly saved some runs there. Yeah, it's definitely in the way past the trees at the far end. I just feel like there's something going on. Just taking her time here, Charlie Knott bowling the next delivery. Bowling to Marie Kelly, who hits it in the air. That's going to be 4 runs to the right of Georgia Adams at mid-off. Lovely strike, lovely piece of timing. And Adams might have to think about maybe pushing herself back, or if not herself, then somebody to that deep mid-off boundary as well. 28 Marie Kelly moves on to. 156 for 2 now, the Blaze, and Adams does have a chat with Charlie Knott. Well, Charlie Knott has given the ball plenty of air at times here. Especially Sarah Bryce was looking to reverse sweeper, so she went very slow with her bowling. And Georgia Adams is indeed, after that chat with Charlie Knott, moving herself back to the deep mid-off boundary. If she wants to have a chat with the bowler, she'll have to shout from there. And that's driven out in the covers. She has got a good voice. She'll need it probably. 2 more to the total as it goes out to deep point. And the total moves on to 158 for 2.
I think I completely lied. I was talking to Nancy Harmon this morning. I think she said there was a Derbyshire festival or something.
And you can find nothing about it.
I can't find anything, so it's obviously either not happening or...
Wrong week.
Not sure.
Well, Derbyshire Festival, I guess, obviously, cricket in terms, outgrounds were sort of festival weeks and what have you, because Derbyshire men are actually playing here currently, aren't they? They're played a championship game which they lost to Yorkshire a few days ago, and they're back here for a T20. So we're right in the middle of a, I suppose you could say, a Chesterfield festival of cricket.
Yeah, festival of cricket, possibly.
Yeah, it could be.
But there we go. Change of bowling then again from the Lake End. They keep swapping and changing their bowlers, trying to find a breakthrough. The Vipers. 158 for 2 at the end of the 29th. Mary Taylor coming back into the attack. She's going to be bowling her right arm seamers. Bowled 3 overs so far. Not taking a wicket as of yet. None for 18. Got 3 fielders on the leg side. And she's bowling to Catherine Bryce, and that one looks like it's drifting down the leg side as it hits Bryce on the pads and goes out onto the offside, and they collect 1 leg by. So you've got, 2 fielders out deep on the leg side. A fine leg, deep square leg, deep third and deep cover. The 4 fielders patrolling the boundary for Mary Taylor. Anna McCacken at deep square comes further in front of square. She's in again as Taylor and bowls to Marie Kelly, who's driving on the up nicely into the offside, just to the left of Elvis. No single taken on this occasion. Whistle number 23.
Correct.
Of the Puff Billy.
Puffin Billy, yeah. Obviously a famous landmark round here.
Obviously. As is the Crooked Tower. I can't see now, actually. The Crooked Spire, sorry.
Yeah. Well, that's what everybody says, isn't it? When everybody knows you're going to Chesterfield, they say, oh, you'll see the Crooked Spire.
Taylor in again to Marie Kelly driving. Thinks about single to George Adams at mid-on. Decides against it.
Incredibly, because I stayed in town last night. When I opened
in town?
right in the centre of town last night. When I opened my bedroom window, I had a full view of the spire.
Oh,
Can
did
you
you?
believe that? You pay hundreds of pounds for that, wouldn't you normally?
I don't know, would you? Full delivery from Mary Taylor, worked leg side by Marie Kelly out to deep square leg, picks up 1 more to the total. I mean,
It's a bit like saying I'm going
I
to
never
Paris.
even heard of it before until I'd come here. And
Did
I'd
you?
seen
Had
it
you
and
not?
I was thinking,
It's a
is
very
that
famous.
spire of that church, is that meant to be like that, or is it... And apparently I did some research actually this morning because I really wanted to know why it was so wonky.
Right.
And I didn't know whether it was manufactured to be like that, you know, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa type vibe, or whether it was actually poor workmanship gone wrong. It was actually poor workmanship gone
Was it really?
wrong.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, they say that there was, I'll come back to it in just a second, as Mary Taylor bowls to Catherine Bryce, who's cutting off the back foot wide of Emily Windsor at third. They're going to come back for a second. The throw comes back in. Good running. It's a long way out there. 2 more to the total. They started off with wood sort of propping up the spire and whatever, and it was all nice and neat and whatever. And then they decided to replace that, because wood doesn't last forever. They decided to replace it with lead.
Yeah.
And then obviously lead famously like sort of bends and morphs in when it gets hot.
Oh.
So over the years it then started to bend and twist and then ended up with what is now the Crooked Spire in Chesterfield. So there you go. Another short wide delivery from Mary Taylor, cuts out to Alice Monaghan, who joggles it a couple of times, gets the throw back in and he concedes a single. That's the end of the 30th. 30 overs gone, 20 to do. 163 for 2 here at Chesterfield. So yeah, that is the reason it's got a spiral twist, 45-degree spiral twist.
Yeah. It's the one
Caused
thing.
by poor labour.
Well, yeah. No, that's an interesting fact. I must admit I didn't know that. But I mean, yes, I've obviously been here in the past, so I've known that it's a very well-known local landmark. But as I say, because I got up here late last night, it was dark. So to actually open my curtains, and
see
actually,
it.
there it is, right in front of me. I mean, it's a bit like, you know, going to Paris, and then when you open the curtains,
I don't think it's anything
there's
like
the Eiffel
that.
Tower.
Surely not. I mean, sorry to everyone that lives in Chesterfield and might love the Crooked Spire, but if I woke up and saw that, I'd be like, oh, that's quite an interesting landmark. If I saw the Eiffel Tower, it's a little bit different.
But just think how much you pay for a hotel bedroom in Paris, where you open the curtains and there it's dominated
Yeah.
by the sight of the...
I just don't think the Eiffel
Eiffel
Tower and the
Tower.
Chesterfield Spiral, the Crooked Spire is probably on the same ballpark of
Well, you say
landmarks, but it is for Chesterfield, I
that. Yeah,
suppose.
of course,
but
if you lived in Chesterfield and you're proud of your hometown, you would say
this is
that.
my first time to Chesterfield, but I will never ever forget now the Crooked
Yeah.
Spire is now etched into my memory.
That's number 25. Toots of the horn on the trade. Now Ava Lee's back with her off spin, and she's bowling straight away. She's on the mark, bowling to Catherine Bryce, who's on 64. Her top score for the Blaze, as they are now. As I said earlier, she had a higher score for the Lightning, but since they morphed into the Blaze, this is a high score for them in this competition. That's pulled away, and there'll be runs here. And Alice Monaghan loses her cap, as she does regularly when she fields out in the deep. And I think the cap touched the ball.
Almost.
Oh, now what does...
Would that be
I
five?
don't know. Nobody seems to be battering an eyelid. 164 for 2.
Just don't talk about it then.
Now we'll just move on. 31 to Marie Kelly, facing the next delivery from Ava Lee, and Kelly goes for the reverse sweep, but it falls just short of Freya Davies there at backward of point. She does well, actually, getting in behind that, but it almost carried. And they come through for a single, 32 to Marie Kelly. Just to give you some extra facts about the spire. The spire is twisted 45 degrees and leans 9 feet 6 inches from its true centre.
Oh my gosh, that's quite a long way.
Yeah. That's in the air, and an easy catch for Georgia Adams, and at last the Vipers have taken a third wicket. It's Catherine Bryce who goes for a very well compiled 65, and that's 26 hoots of the train at the same time. Maybe the driver is a Southern Vipers fan, because that was very timely on the hoot of the train, just as Georgia Adams took that catch at mid-wicket with the Blaze on 165 for 3.
Yeah, that partnership between Catherine Bryce and Marie Kelly worth 66, so a good partnership between the two of them. And again, the breakthrough, Ava Lee with the ball in hand, gets rid of both Bryce sisters, so important contribution from her, because they're two key players for the Blaze for me. She now has 2 wickets. Gets 2 big wickets, Ava Lee. Like Heather Graham, new batter for the Blaze. They keep coming at you. Heather Graham, high score of 28, not quite fired as of yet. Better with the ball in the last game, got 6 for 39 in the last game against the South East Star. She was dominant in that. No Australia A call up for her, as I've said before. Has been involved in some of the Australia A and even the full Australian side in recent years, but doesn't find herself on the list for the upcoming tour against India A.
27 years of age, is that maybe slightly counting against her?
Yeah, possibly now. But then again, Talia McGrath's involved in that, and she's had a lot of now full Australian experience, but captains aside in the ODI and the T20, so don't know whether it could be just that she's not quite fired. She had a good domestic season, I think, for Tasmania.
Ava Lee bowls, and she's off the mark straight away, walking down the wicket and driving that up to deep mid-on. Was that a hoot I heard? Or was that just me making it up? I think it's, honestly, I'm going to go to bed tonight now, hearing that train.
Have you just wrote it down anyway?
No.
Oh, okay, I haven't counted
just in case, no. Still 26. Lee bowls, it's in the air, but it's safe when it's half. Misfield, actually, at the end. Had extra covers. That Mary Taylor there.
That's Abby Norgrove.
Abby Norgrove. Can't quite get her fingers underneath that one.
Just dropped awkwardly in front of her, didn't it?
It did. So we've had 31 overs here at Queen's Park in Chesterfield. The sunshine has been out for the whole 31 overs, and before that, that's 27 hoots now. And at 167 for 3. So there was 4 runs off that Ava Lee over, but crucially, the teenager has picked up a second wicket. So the main scorers, Sarah Bryce 48 off 64, Catherine Bryce 65 from 72, and Marie Kelly still out there, 33 from 36.
Mary Taylor's going to continue them from the Lake End. Getting into a stride now. 4 overs, none for 22 so far. Big conversations between captain and fellow experienced fast bowler Freya Davies. 3 of them conversing at the far end of the ground. She's running towards us now. Bowls to Marie Kelly. The now set batter Marie Kelly tries to flick that one off her legs. A full delivery hits her pad. I think that'll be as a pre-signal from umpire Paul Pollard. I think will be called a leg bye. It is. 1 more to the total. 168 for 3. New batter Heather Graham just joined Marie Kelly. She's on 1. Marks her guard. Just has a little view of the field. There's 2 fielders still on deep on the leg side. 2 out deep on the offside as well. Taylor in again, bowls a back of the length delivery wide outside the off stump, will be called a wide. There's a flash from Heather Graham, sends the ball through to Southby behind the stump, so there's no connection made. Another one to the total, 169 for 3. 8 wides bowled so far by the Vipers. Taylor in again. High front arm, bowls to Heather Graham, who's driving on the up to George Adams at mid-on. No run taken there either. Just need to put a bit of a foot on the throat of the Blaze, don't they now?
Yeah.
Do the Vipers. Just try and string some dots together, cause some pressure. If they can take a couple of quick wickets, 169 for 3, could quickly change. Taylor in again, a slower ball, and that's driven on the up by Heather Graham. It's running away from George Ellis. It was high in the air, drops in between Ellis at extra cover, who was running back, and Monaghan that was running in from deep cover. They pick up. Just looks like 1. Was that 1 in the end?
I think it might have been.
Just a single, 170 for 3. Deceived by the slower ball there, Heather Graham. Tried to go up and over the infield, did that, but with no great conviction. Taylor in again, bowls towards us, bowls to Kelly down the leg side. Wide signalled. Been a few of those.
Yeah, probably a few too many, really. As always difficult, isn't it, with batters going well, you throw a few wides in as well. It's
just trying to bowl 2 straight.
Yeah.
Mary Taylor gathers her thoughts. Arms pumping, runs towards us, bowls to Kelly. Outside edge, no. Just misses the outside edge of the bat, goes through to Rihanna Southby. It's a better length delivery, good line, good length. Just leaves Kelly outside the off stump. She went fishing for that one. Marie Kelly, 107 runs in this competition before today. An average of 15, so this will be helping her case. Full length delivery from Taylor, defended carefully on the leg side by Marie Kelly for no run. That was another honk, I think.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh,
it's
did you? Sorry,
28.
I didn't see you jot it down.
Well, I'm trying not to mention it all the time,
Right,
because
okay.
people say, "Oh, why does he keep going on about it?" But I'm keeping count in the background.
In the background, okay.
Yeah.
Taylor in again, bowls and hits the stumps of Marie Kelly, driving. Looked like it went between bat and pad. That's a good wicket for Mary Taylor. She'll be pleased with that one. Gets rid of Marie Kelly at a key moment for the Vipers. Bowls her through the gate. It's a full delivery, and Kelly just looked like she missed it.
Yeah, certainly did. I'm sure the driver of that train is a Southern Vipers fan, because did you hear the extra hoot?
I did.
Again, for the second time.
Maybe he just
in the
does
last
that
couple
and
of
then he
wickets.
fall of wicket, possibly.
Well, maybe.
Sees the wicket and just says, there you go.
I reckon, it's an extra one there. We're up to 30. Good delivery there, Mary Taylor. Just watching this on the replay. And, yeah, right between bat and pad there, Marie Kelly. Bit of a nothing shot, really. Driving on the up, not really. May just have come back. I'm going to have a look at it again, actually. Oh, it does, actually. It nips back. Ball pitches and nips back. You know, this is not a totally flat wicket, this. We said there's a bit of variable pace.
I'm surprised then, if a wicket seams, it generally spins, so I'm surprised that the spinners haven't seen an awful lot of turn.
True.
But there we go. There's something in it for the bowlers at least. 171 for 4, 32 overs gone here at Chesterfield, sunny Chesterfield. Weather set fair all day. Wasn't the case the whole time during the week when I kept checking the forecast. There was a bit of rain around, but it seems to have disappeared.
Mary Taylor's 6th wicket in this year's competition. So the new batter for the Blaze?
It's Ella Claridge.
Ella Claridge, 21 years of age, playing her 12th game for the Blaze in this competition. She was another one that played a few games for Lightning beforehand. And it's going to be Ava Lee again. Bowls, and that's a cutaway nicely by Heather Graham out to deep cover. Graham moves on to 3, so Ella Claridge getting ready to face her first delivery.
High score of 71 in the last game off 47 deliveries. Batted brilliantly, coming in lower down the order and exploding the score up to their 318 that they made against the Stars.
The bowls, Claridge is on the back foot. This goes to Lee's left on her follow through.
She'll be wanting to continue that form, I'm sure.
Yeah.
183 runs at 36, so she's having a good competition. Ella Claridge.
She is. So works that to mid-wicket. Fielded, stopped by Georgia Adams. So they're still in a good position here, the Blaze. They've lost 4 wickets. We're into the 33rd over, coming towards the end of it. But they do have 2 relatively new batters in, so they're almost starting again. That's a cutaway on the offside, and Claridge is off the mark. That's number 31. Not runs or wickets, it's hoots.
That's the that's the importance of wickets, though, isn't it? It's just keeping them in hand allows you to just keep putting your foot on the gas.
It does. I think that might be, I don't know what that is above us. Helicopter plane, I don't know. It's played back to the bowler by Heather Graham, and there is no run. Oh, it's a helicopter, yeah, I can see it. Going away from us.
With some speed, actually.
It is. Comes down the wicket and meets the ball almost on a half volley, drives up to mid-off, but no run. That will be the end of the over. So 32 overs gone here at Queen's Park in Chesterfield. 173 for 4 are the Blaze. And just looking up in the sky there, probably somewhere there. It's the helicopter. Oh, that's way gone now. That's how quick it was. It's got the guy on the horn now. He's getting carried away.
He knows you're counting.
Yeah, he's getting carried away. He's trying to confuse me.
Fierce rivalry between these two sides over the last couple of years as they've been the Blaze. As we mentioned previously, the last time these two teams met in this competition was in the final last year at Northants, which the Vipers came out on top on that occasion to win their 3rd Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy competition since its introduction in 2020. And in the group stages last year there was 1 apiece, 1 win for the Vipers at Loughborough, 1 win for the Blaze on the Isle of Wight. And that's down the leg side by Mary Taylor. Got a little bit straight on her, worked it leg side. It might be called a leg bye. We'll just wait for the signal now off the bat of Claridge. 1 more to the total nonetheless. 173 for no, it is 174 for 4.
I think I'm right in saying that game at Loughborough was late on, wasn't it? Late on in September, and I think the Vipers had to win that to
They did, and
get through,
if they won it well, which they did, and they jumped above the Blaze and qualified first, so they didn't have to play in the playoff. Again, down the leg side from Mary Taylor. It's not called a wide on, or it is called a wide on this occasion. I was going to say it was a long way down the leg side.
A big win. And the Blaze then had to play in the playoffs.
They did, which was unexpected really, because they were sitting pretty at the top of the table for a long while until the Vipers had a fierce comeback at the back end of the tournament last year. Taylor in again, bowls to Heather Graham. It's a full toss, a low full toss that's swatted away on the leg side. That'll be 4 into the brown seats away to our left. And it was a poor delivery, a gifted full toss that she could have hit anywhere. Hits it for 4 though. Graham moves to 7, 179 for 4.
Just watching that on the replay. Yeah, gosh, that's about shin height. That's a perfect height, isn't it? It's a strike. As a batter. A few people sitting around the ground in the seats, which are there from the last game and ready for the one on Sunday.
Taylor in again, bowl short outside the off stump. Beats the outside edge of Heather Graham's bat. It's good delivery, goes through to around Southby, underarms the ball at the stumps and hits them, but Heather Graham was firmly in her crease. Mary Taylor just feels like feel like she's just getting into her stride a little bit now. She can cut out those wides on the leg side and occasionally offside as well. She'll be on to something, building pressure on these two. Having good conversations with Freya Davies at the far end of the ground. Two fast bowlers together, one with obviously a wealth of international and domestic experience. Freya Davies talking to the young Mary Taylor, who's in again, runs towards us, bowls to Heather Graham, who's driving on the up to Freya Davies at mid-off. There's no run taken.
Freya Davies is good like that, isn't she?
Works
Always
well with the
talks to
bowlers, yeah.
isn't she? It's a noticeable feature since her move from the Stars during the winter.
Been a big help to Mary, I'm sure. Young bowler just finding her way in professional cricket. First professional contract signed at the beginning of this year. Short one outside the off stump this time. It goes through to Rihanna Southby as Heather Graham just shoulders arms with it. Lets it go through, yeah. Thought about taking it on and then decided against it as the two fielders on the leg side are waiting. Ava Lee at almost like a long leg position really, and Ella McCacken in front of square on the leg side as well. She's in again as Taylor. Bowls to Graham, who's forward, driving through the cover region. Alice Monaghan does the fielding out at deep cover. One more to the total. That ends the 34th here at Chesterfield. 34 overs gone. Or was it 33 overs gone? 34 overs gone. 180 for 4.
Now, I was just doing a little bit of digging round, and you would think that this is the only ground in Chesterfield that has hosted first-class cricket, but it isn't. There is another ground called the Saltergrade ground in Chesterfield. I have no idea where that is.
I think it's where they used to play before they played here.
Right, well, obviously, because when you look at first-class matches played here, and there hasn't been one, well, not here, but in this other Saltergrade ground, there hasn't been one for over 100 years. So,
I wonder if it's still a cricket ground in general, though.
I don't know. Here's Ava Lee, bowls, and that's a nice strong shot there from Heather Graham through extra cover. That's a beautiful shot. That's a sweet strike. Used her feet to get down to the pitch of the ball. She moves on to 12, 184 for 4. Well, the last first-class match played here was Derbyshire against the United North of England 11 in 1925. So there you go. So this isn't the only ground that's hosted first-class cricket in Chesterfield. There's a drive, and George Adams gets there just at mid-wicket to cut that off. Because the little I know of Chesterfield, it's not the biggest place, is it? It's as a town, it's...
I've never been here before, actually. No.
It's a nice enough town centre. Where I was, actually. So driven back to the borough. A lot of car parking, actually, because the hotel I was actually in didn't have a car park. And they said, oh, there's one over the road, but you can't get there because there's a one-way system, so you have to sort of go all the way around, blah, blah, blah. And then when I got to this car park, I couldn't actually use the car park. It was an open-air car park, a lot of land. And it's one of those, I won't mention the company, it's one of those where you've got to register on the app and do this, that, and that. And to be honest, it was taking ages. Oh, my word, that has given a lot of air, and that's a low full toss, and that's smacked over the head of mid-off, and that would be 6, I think. We're just waiting for the umpire to clarify. No, it's 4. Well, there was inches in that. That was a hard smack given to that pretty poor delivery from Ava Lee. It is signal 4. The umpire signal 4. The Vipers are continuing in front again, they're a bit excited. Somebody's saying it's 6, but it's not, it's 4. 188 for 4. Yeah, so anyway, I had to go all around the one-way system back. And there was about 3 different car parks all in this quite big area. Fortunately, one of them takes a credit card, so I thought that's all right. Because I can't do all these apps, they're a nightmare. There is now a deep mid-off game. So very good. If you come to Chesterfield, there's very good open-air car parking here. And in fact, right next door to that, there was another multi-storey of about 6 or 7 floors. That's cut out into the covers. And
perhaps using that instead, was that not easier to use?
Well, that was my next option.
Right,
but this one was next to this other big area. So you think as a town,
car park.
You know, where a lot of towns seem to be doing everything possible to get rid of cars and not make it easy. Always just trying to hit that one and misses and goes into the gloves of Rihanna Southby. Heather Graham was trying to hit that hard as well. Chesterfield seems to be doing all it can to help cars come into the city centre.
There we go, not trying to keep them out.
No, they're not. No, you'd be struggling if you didn't find a car parking spot, that's for sure, because, as I say, there's plenty of options, which is refreshing, especially when you arrive somewhere quite late on in the evening. The last thing you want is to think, well, where am I going to park anyway?
It's all sorted for you.
Yeah. So 188 for 4, 35 gone, 8 runs off that one. And Ava Lee now has conceded 28 runs, still only 28 runs off her 6 overs. And she's taken 2 of the 4 wickets that have fallen. Mary Taylor has taken the other.
2 important wickets,
Yeah.
actually, as well. Another swapping and changing of bowlers. Mary Taylor out of the attack after getting rid of Marie Kelly in her last over. Being replaced by Freya Davies. She's bowled 7 overs so far, bowled brilliantly. Not taking a wicket, but only gone for 26 in her 7 so far. So, I missed Lindsay Smith today, of course. Freya Kemp bowled for the first time on Sunday as well. Missing those 2. Davies in again. Short delivery, cut off the back foot by Claridge. And some misfield in the covers for the Vipers. It will concede 4. It's a good shot by Claridge. Hit firmly all the way along the floor. But should have been stopped, really, in the covers, I think, by the Vipers fielders. 4 more to the total. 4 to Claridge. She moves to 6.
Yeah, I think they're giving away a few runs here and there, haven't they, with their fielding?
Deep cover goes back then. Davies bounds in again towards us. Bowls to Claridge, who's driving on the up again. To Mary Taylor at mid-off. No run conceded. Tall girl Claridge. Only... How old is Ella Claridge? Didn't write that one down.
21.
21. Davies in again, bowls to Claridge on the pads this time, tries to work it leg side, and Southby's out quickly behind the stumps to chase the ball into the square leg region, but McCacken beats her there from deep backward square. They do get 1 leg by, 193 for 4.
Couple of quick hoots on the 39 now of those.
Wow.
We've had.
We should
Give or
have,
take
we
the
should
odd
have actually bet at the start how many there were going to be. Made it more interesting, really, to see who would have been
one. Well,
closest.
at this rate, we're on for about 100 and something, aren't we?
Going to count in the break as well, or no? Just
No.
during gameplay.
No, I think I'm going to give up.
Davies, and again, gets a good bit of bounce on that one. Graham keeps it down, nudges it into the leg side, will collect 1 more to her total. She moves to 17.
We do get this brief glimpse, don't we, in the, sort of about 10 o'clock as we look between the ice cream van and a tree. And we get about a 10-15 second look at the train, and then it disappears again.
There's not many people on it.
No.
Davies bowls to Claridge, driving to extra cover with no real timing. George Elwes there does the fielding.
Somebody wins a shout in there.
Picked up by our effects mic. Trying to show her support. They're very quiet out there, the Vipers, at the moment. Maybe feeling the pressure. Davies in once again. Good leg delivery on the pads of Claridge. Work leg side out to deep backward square. McCacken out there does the fielding. Actually, I think she might be just in front of square, but same result. A single to finish the 37th, 36th over. I don't know if it's clicked over or not. Sometimes I look over and it's already clicked, and sometimes I don't.
36.
36 overs gone. 195 for 4.
I've got an email here from Paul Bryce.
Okay.
Now, instantly you think, hang on a minute, is that a relation of the Bryce sisters? But he doesn't say that. solentcricket@gmail.com if you want to get involved. Talking about Saltergate, I was talking about the other ground that's hosted first-class cricket in Chesterfield. He says, greetings. Paul Bryce here in Southport, a blind freelance broadcast journalist, loving the coverage. Sorry. Here's Adams. That's a cutaway there by Ella Claridge. She will pick up a single. 196 for 4. Saltergate was, until recently, the home of Chesterfield Football Club. but also used by Derbyshire for cricketing purposes. That's right, we mentioned it earlier. Keep up the good work, says Paul. Thank you very much. That's a really nice email. I suppose if you're a football lover and you're up this way, then you would certainly know Saltergate, but apologies from my point of view.
A couple of famous footballers, actually, born in Chesterfield.
Was there?
Harry Maguire went to school in Chesterfield.
Really?
Not currently in the European squad.
Okay.
Of course.
Adams bowls, and that's cut away by Graham to point.
Went to school in Chesterfield. Don't think he was born in Chesterfield. Went to school in Chesterfield. And then Millie Bright, famously OBE Millie Bright, born in Chesterfield. Plays football, international football for England and Chelsea women.
Mm-hmm. Adams again bowls, and that's full. Graham drives, but not powerfully up to mid-wicket.
You sort of researched the most famous people born or from Chesterfield, and I didn't know many of them, to be honest with you. I had to keep scrolling down the list until you got to the less famous ones that I might know.
Well, because those
black and white photos.
Were they the two most obvious?
To me, yes.
Yeah, that's cut away. And to extra cover this time, fielded by Freya Davies.
But please get in touch if you can think of anyone more famous than those two that I might know. StoningCricket@gmail.com.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you one right off the straight away.
You're going to say how
that swept. Oh my word, that was a wicked bounce off the turf there. Mary Taylor, my word, she was in behind that, and the ball just literally took off. It was swept hard by Heather Graham. She moves on to 21, 200 for 4. Most famous, the one bowling now.
Yeah.
Born in Chesterfield.
She is the vice president of Chesterfield Cricket Club as well. She found out 2 days ago. So of this cricket club, she is one of the vice presidents. Her and her dad, Chris Adams.
Yeah.
One of the vice presidents of this cricket club.
And she didn't know she was a vice president?
No, not until somebody told her on Twitter 2 days ago.
Well, she's obviously heavily involved here. Then.
Yeah.
200 for 4. We'll wait for the ball to
Ian
come.
Blackwell, who used to play here.
What, the Somerset and Durham spinner, now an umpire?
And then vice presidents, few more, I can't remember the others, but two of them, Chris Adams and George Adams, and somebody tweeted her dad, Chris, and said, did you know you were a vice president of Chesterfield Cricket Club? And then he looked on the website and was like, oh gosh, yeah, there I am. And then Mrs. George and said, did you know you were vice president of Chesterfield Cricket Club? No, I didn't know that. So there we go.
There you go. Well, I only learned...
Obviously heavily involved in all decision-making that goes on at the club, clearly.
Say, yeah. She can always hold her hands up, say, not me. Bowls, and that's driven to mid-wicket, and that's picked up cleanly by Abby Norgrove.
I thought it was quite amusing when I found that out.
I love that, to find out you're a vice president of somewhere, you didn't even know anything about it. So George Adams from here. 200 for 4. Paul Bryce is back on the emails. solentcricket@gmail.com says, no, I'm not related to the Bryce sisters, though the spelling's the same and I wish I was, says Paul. Paul, thank you very much for that. It was an obvious association to make without really being informed. So there are 13 overs left, and there's another hoot on the Puffing Billy train. We're into the 40s.
Still can't get over the fact that it's called Puffing Billy.
It's great, isn't it?
Freya Davies then to bowl her penultimate over. This will be her 9th. Good array of bowlers being used by the Vipers so far. Monaghan not yet being one of them. It's back into the side today. Davies in past the umpire, bowls to Claridge, who's driving nicely. And fumble by Elwes at extra cover. Concedes a single and a wild throw. Doesn't get anywhere near a run out either. Another one leaked by the Vipers, you would say. 201 for 4. Change of field for Heather Graham. Long on goes back. Davies in, bowls to her. Slower ball, defended into the offside. Again to George Elwes. This time she holds the ball safely in her hands. Doesn't release the throw. We're getting towards the back end of this innings at Chesterfield. Davies in again, past the umpire, bowls to Heather Graham, who's cutting off the back foot. Finds Abby Norgrove at point. No run conceded again. A few people gathering by the ice cream van now as we get firmly into the afternoon. Everyone's had their lunch. Now they're on to dessert. It's a small queue forming over the far side of the ground. Davies in again, bowls to Heather Graham this time. It whips that one off her legs and beats Ava Lee down there at fine leg. Will get 4. It's a beautiful bit of timing. A low full toss from Freya Davies and was punished. 4 more to the total. 205 for 4 now. Good shot by Heather Graham.
Was, yeah. Super shot. Again, but the Blaze are on for a good total here still. Still got 6 wickets in hand.
Davies approaches us again, bowls a slower delivery, another low full toss, and that's deposited over mid-wicket, over the head of George Adams, and there's nobody fielding out there, so it will go for 4 as well. A couple of looseners. She's bowled brilliantly so far, Freya Davies, but a couple of looseners in the last 2 deliveries releases the pressure on Heather Graham and the Blaze. 209 for 4. Heather Graham moves into 29. That is her highest score of this competition. She made 28 on Sunday against the South East Stars. She's now on 29, so her highest score. It took a couple of minutes for Charlie not to go and find the ball that was then wrapped around in all those chairs that nobody's really sitting on. I think there's 4 or 5 people sat over the far side of the ground on those brown chairs. As Davies is in again, a good length delivery and a nice single, quick single taken into the offside as she drops the ball in front of her. That's a good bit of running by Heather Graham. And that's the end of Freya Davies' 9th over. It's 38 overs gone for the Vipers, 210 for 4, the Blaze.
Yeah, 10 runs off it. Now, a very famous person died in Chesterfield.
Oh, we're going more morbid now, okay.
A certain George Stevenson, who, well known, of course, as an engineer. English civil engineer, died in Chesterfield. Just having a look actually, just to see
what else is going on.
what famous.
There's probably way more famous people that was on that list, and I just don't know who they are. It's probably more likely. There's a couple of black and white photographs from like movie stars or film stars, and I'm not really big on my movies or films, so it sort of goes over the top of my head sometimes.
I'm a bit like that as well, actually. Right, here's Georgia Adams then bowls, and that's driven up towards deep mid-off by Heather Graham, who's playing a super little cameo here for the Blaze. You move on to 211 for 4, and Graham moves on to 31. That's just from 29 deliveries. Well, the Vipers won't want her out there for too long. Into the 39th over here, Blaze winning the toss. There's a drive up towards mid-off. It's picked up nice and cleanly by Georgia Elwis. That's Ella Claridge, who's currently facing. It feels a bit of a flat performance from the Vipers so far, doesn't it, really? Nothing seems to have sparked them too much, but the batting's been good from the Blaze, has to be said. And that's whisked away on the leg side. Now work to do for Monaghan, who palms that off to Windsor. Again, good combination in the deep from the Vipers. And the total moves on to 213 for 4, and Claridge moves on to 11.
It's a long way out into this far pocket to our right where Monaghan's fielding out a deep mid-wicket. Adams bowls to Claridge, who's driving out to deep cover. Fielded out there by Anna McCacken. 1 more to the total. Yeah, square of the wicket. It's a long way. Throws aren't about Monaghan is probably about the only one that could reach on one bounce, if not straight in over the top of the stumps out of the Vipers fielders. I think she's about the only one that could probably reach. Adams in again, and that's worked over the infield on the offside this time. Heather Graham gives herself a bit of room, and it's misfielded actually in the end by, I think that's Freya Davies out there. Another misfield for the Vipers. Leaks another boundary. 218 for 4. Heather Graham, it's a lovely shot. Created room for herself to get the ball up and over the offside field. Got a boundary. 35, she's now looking dangerous. Adams in again, bowls to Graham. pushes that up to long off this time, gets one more to her total. She moves on to 36. 219 for 4. 11 overs remaining, 39 gone.
What do you think the Vipers would be reasonably would settle for at this stage? Because, I mean, if they score at 4 and over here, and that's conservative, isn't it? Really? Obviously, it depends on who's batting and who isn't, and who's.
I mean, they've got to look and try and keep them below 270 if they can, but
yeah.
Still, it'll be a tough ask.
It will. I just think there's a little bit more in this wicket than we think. I think it is coming on nicely, but I think they've played really well in the Blaze.
They have.
And I'm not sure the Vipers have got enough balls in the right areas. Certainly not the same.
Going off confidence, I think. Charlie not with ball in hand. Once again, this time from the lake end, the far end of the ground. She's bowled 6 overs so far, been expensive. No wickets for 44. She's going to be bowling at Heather Graham, who's 35 not out from 30 and looking dangerous. She waits for not, who bowls with her hat on, past the umpire. Short delivery and off the back foot cutting is Heather Graham. Cuts it straight though, up to long off. George Elwes there does the fielding. One more to her total, 220 for 4. Last wicket fell and the score was 171. A small partnership being building here between Claridge and Graham. Sweeping this time is Claridge up and over the infield, goes one bounce into the hands of McCacken at deep backward square. Horrible throw back in once again to Southby, does well to collect the ball. On the half volley, one more to the total. 221 for 4. Graham 37 not out, Claridge with her on 13 not out. Not. Good length delivery, bit of turn offered. Heather Graham turns it leg side, picks up one more. 222 for 4. Change of field for Claridge. Deep cover goes out on the offside. Charlie not in again, and that's a full toss that was missed out on actually by Claridge. It runs away from Ava Lee, and it's going to be byes, as it was missed by Southby as well. A few boundaries being leaked in the last few overs by the Vipers. 226 for 4 now. Claridge missed out on a full toss, really, but survives. She waits for not. Throws the ball from one hand to the other. She's in past the umpire, bowls back the length delivery, and that's a catch down the leg side. It's a brilliant dismissal. Brilliant catch by Rihanna Southby. It's a good catch down the leg side as the ball was trying to be swatted away into the leg side. It's a poor delivery really on outside the leg stump. If she hadn't hit it, it probably would have been called a wide by the umpire, but she gets a little tick on it. And Southby snaffles it up to dismiss Ella Claridge, who, after a 71 on Sunday, has had a tame 13 today, but was providing good support for Heather Graham while she was there, and brings the captain, Kirsty Gordon, out to the middle, who's going to join Heather Graham.
Ella Claridge was caught by Rihanna Southby off the ball.
She's found herself batting above Josie Groves. I thought might have come in next, but they've gone with Kirsty Gordon. Of course, they've got Lucy Hyam, who can also bat a little bit, and McCarthy and Ballinger as well, along with Groves. So still got wickets in hand, but sort of finding themselves into the bowlers now. The Vipers need to sort of just pounce on that a little bit and try and go full steam ahead if they can, to try and keep the Blaze down to a score which I've just said below 270 would be ideal if they can do it. 226 for 5 now, with 10 overs to go after this one. But we'll see what the captain, Kirsty Gordon, can do for her team now. Charlie Knott, another wicket for her. Not bowled her best so far today as in the previous game she's played, but she now has 12 wickets in the competition. It was the highest for the Vipers. Just needs to get this field right, so long on's going back. Got long on, deep mid-wicket, deep backward square, and a deep cover. She bowls to Kirsty Gordon down the leg side and parried by wicketkeeper Irina Southbit, be called a wide. Few wides being bowled by the Vipers so far, 11 of them in the first 40 overs. Not in again. Good length delivery, worked leg side, and that's given as Kirsty Gordon tries to work it leg side, comes off her pad. And it looks like there's a little bit of a break in the Blaze batting at the moment. They're not quite making use of these wickets they've got in hand, Kev.
No, well, it's the Vipers need a bit of a push, don't they? They need a little bit of a back-end fillip, because the Blaze were really on course, weren't they?
A back-end fillip?
Yeah, is that a phrase?
I've never heard that before.
No, I've not. No, I just made that up, actually. But yeah, a couple of wickets falling now. Heather Graham is still out there, which is good news from a Blaze point of view. Ella Claridge, yeah, maybe a little bit unlucky being caught down the leg side in the previous wicket to that last one. But yeah, I just feel that maybe the seamers for the Vipers haven't quite been on it as we've seen in the past. I think the Blaze have batted particularly well, both Bryce sisters. Sarah with 48 and Catherine Bryce with 65. Really put the squeeze on the Vipers, put them under pressure, didn't they, in those sort of, those not early, but after we got past the power play. And the Vipers, you just felt, have always been under a bit of pressure in the field.
They have, but they're just starting to sneak their way back into it now. 227 for 6. They're firmly into the bowlers. Lucy Heyhoe, the new batter, hasn't played an awful lot in this competition so far. Found herself in and out of the side. Yet to bowl in this competition as well. Excuse me. Has a higher score of 11. So, but she can bat. I have seen her bat. She joins Heather Graham out there.
So it's Ava Lee again, and that's cut away by Graham. The covers, and then pick up a single as an overthrow. All right, probably just about. Gives you a flavour really of the Vipers and how they've been in the field. They've been okay, but there's been little moments where they've been a little sloppy, and that was one of them. So 228 for 6 the Blaze here, and we're into the last 10 overs here. We're into the 41st, and Ava Lee has picked up 2 of the wickets that have fallen. He's now bowling to Lucy Heyhoe, flighted. Lucy Heyhoe drives out into the cover. She's off the mark straight away. 229 for 6. 26 years of age. Lucy Heyhoe did a commentary day with her up at Trent Bridge earlier on when Nottinghamshire played Hampshire. I think it was straight after the 20-over game, the Charlotte Edwards Cup game. That's hitting the air over extra cover. She hasn't really timed it, Graham, but she's got enough on it to go over the rope for 4.
She's done that a couple of times, made a bit of room for herself and carved it up and over the offside. Good shot, actually.
Yeah, that I think it was the day after or 2 days after. And when the Blaze won by 3 runs, managed to defend 112 for 9. That Charlotte Edwards Cup game earlier on in the season. Vipers falling short, 109 for 9. They lost a lot of wickets late on, didn't they, the Vipers, in that game. Lucy Heyhoe, understandably feeling very smug when I did that day's commentary with her. I think it was literally the day after. Can't remember. So 233 for 6, and Heather Graham is 43 not out, facing Ava Lee. She's driving, goes off the bottom of the bat, low full toss. Goes back to Lee. So 41st over here. Heather Graham facing Ava Lee once more. Bowls, tossed up, driven over extra cover once more. She's favouring that shot. And Errol West does well actually running around from mid-off. It was a little straighter That shot just gave Elwes enough time to get round and pick it up in front of the boundary rope, but she is playing really well here, Heather Graham.
She's favouring that offside, isn't she?
She is.
Really trying to use the angle.
37 balls her innings so far, cuts that one away, doesn't time that at all. Ball trickles out towards the cover area. And that is that Ella McGacken there?
Yeah.
Yeah, Fields, and that is the end of that over, and 41 overs gone.
Mm-hmm.
And the total is 235 for 6 here, the Blaze.
So yeah, 9 overs to go. They're to go at 5s, 45. That'll be 280, so they can keep them below 5s. Be a tough ask.
Yeah, it will.
But
Yeah, it will.
if they can do it, they'll be really quite pleased. Anything under 280 now will be really pleasing, I think, for the Vipers from where they were and where they could have been. Charlie Knott then to continue from the Lake End. She's having a discussion with Captain George Adams about the field, about the type of delivery. Got to be bowling at the stumps as much as possible. That variable bounce could come into it. If it's straight and it scoots along the floor, it could be dangerous. So that'll be the conversation that they'll be having. Try and keep it on the stumps, especially to the lower order. Lucy Hyam waits for her now. As Knott's in, flighted delivery, worked it leg side, lovely, turns it nicely. Lucy Hyam into the leg side, out to the fielder at deep mid wicket. One more to the total. 236 for 6.
Just trying to look who the Blaze have got to come in. Cassidy McCarthy, was she much of a batter with the Vipers Academy?
No.
So we're starting to get into the real tail, aren't we?
Yeah. Josie Groves, just see her to our left. Can bat a little bit. And Grace Ballinger, firmly a bowler, I think.
Yeah.
Not in again, down the leg side, and that's swept fine by Heather Graham. Just going to see whether it's been called. It's been called runs, so she's got all of it. Heather Graham. Another boundary conceded by the Vipers. Poor delivery down the leg side. There's been a fair few of those. They haven't bowled their best today. Of the Vipers. 240 for 6. Heather Graham's just snuck up onto 49. She's batted brilliantly.
Yes.
She waits again for Charlie Knott. It's past the umpire. Flighted delivery. Graham uses her feet, pushes up to long off. That'll be a half century for Heather Graham. Her first one in the competition. She got 6 for in the last game. A 50 in the next one. Proving her worth as an all-rounder for the Blaze.
14th time she's passed 50 in List A, Women's List A cricket. 6 times she's passed it for Western Australia. 5 for Tasmania. 1 for Essex. 1 for Australia A.
Well, there we go. Charlie Knott in again. Another flighted delivery, sweeping in front of square as Hyam out to Monaghan. Deep mid wicket, gets the throw back in nicely. 242 for 6. Lucy Hyam providing good support for Heather Graham.
Yeah.
As they try and get towards that 300 total. They'll be wanting 300. The Vipers won't want them to get anywhere near it really if they can help it. Charlie Knott in again, past the umpire. Really flighted, slow delivery. Almost had snow on it as it came back down. It's played out into the offside by Graham, fielded in the inner circle by Emily Windsor. Cover is up. Fielders out on the leg side and straight. Here at Chesterfield, Knott in again. Quicker delivery down the leg side again. Gets the bottom edge of Heather Graham's bat. Fielded by Ava Lee at short fine leg. Will get one more to the Blaze total. 243 for 6. 42 overs gone here at Chesterfield. If you've just joined us, we've got 8 overs to go. The Blaze started well with the Bryce sisters. Well, they lost Graves quite early to a good run out. And there's a good partnership between the Bryce sisters. They made 48. Sarah Bryce made 48. Catherine Bryce 65 before she was caught by George Adams at mid wicket. Marie Kelly and bowled a good delivery back through the gate by Mary Taylor, and a good catch down the leg side from Ella Claridge. Snaffling one was Rihanna Southby, and then a plum LBW. Kirsty Gordon fell for no score. There are 6 wickets to fall so far for the Blaze. 243 for 6. 8 overs to go.
And here's Ava Lee again. There's a nice looking drive from Heather Graham up towards deep mid-off. She moves on to 52, 244 for 6. I found a very famous person that's actually born in Chesterfield, John Hurt, the actor, who you probably had never heard of.
Yeah, that's probably one of the names that I glossed over.
Yeah.
How famous is he?
Well, he's received numerous awards, including the BAFTA Outstanding British Contribution that's played on the onside by Heyhoe. She's doing a really good job here, just giving Heather Graham as much of the strike as possible. Heyhoe moves on to 4. He received the BAFTA Outstanding British Contribution to Cinema Award in 2012, knighted by Queen Elizabeth II in 2015 for services to drama. That's how famous he is.
Oh, right.
I'll try and find us some credits, which might give you a better idea. Oh, a sweep, top edge, but over the infield. Just drops behind the umpire and drops behind Emily Windsor, who's running back towards deep backward square leg. Graham will pick up 2 more. She moves on to 54, not out, 247 for 6. There is that person on the loudspeaker again in the park, just over there. Right, let's have a look. Short from Ava Lee, pulled away, and there is nobody out deep there. At square leg, and that'll be 4. Not sure whether Ava Lee meant to bowl that quicker, or she just pulled it down a bit.
I think it was just a drag down. Poor delivery by Eva Lee. She's bowled so well so far.
Yeah.
She bowled 7 overs, taking the 2 wickets of the Bryce sisters. Just one rare poor delivery.
Do you watch Harry Potter at all?
I do.
Oh, right, okay, we all know this. Oh, that's a lovely shot, straight, and that's going for 6. Heather Graham down the wicket, hit high, straight. Well, that is a really, really good shot. Back towards the pavilion here at Chesterfield. Even the train driver enjoyed that one. 257 for 6. Heather Graham moves on to 64. He played Garrick Ollivander.
Oh, yeah?
In the Harry Potter film series. Oh. Yeah, amongst many, many other things. Many films.
The Wand guy.
Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, which many people will know is a real classic. Anyway, John Hurt was born in Chesterfield.
There we go.
You're right, there are other people that not even I've heard of. Oh, hang on, what's this? Just waiting for Georgia Adams to have a quick chat with Ava Lee. That's hit up along the ground this time by Heather Graham. Moves on to 65, that goes out to deep mid-off. 258 for 6. If this is the person I think it is, I'm just trying to click on it, can't. For some reason won't let me. End of the over. 7 overs to do, so 43 gone. It's 258 for 6, and that was a big over, 15 off that. Oh, here we. Oh, yes. Now, I know you won't know this person, but people of a certain vintage will certainly know a certain Fred Davis,
Right.
who was a very, very well-known snooker player of yesteryear, who was born in Chesterfield. Fred Davis, world champion on 8 occasions,
There we go.
from many, many moons ago.
Not a big snooker fan,
Last one,
really.
1956 was the last one. But yeah, years ago, if anybody says, "Oh, you think you're Fred Davis," you know, one of those. You think you're Fred Davis on the snooker table. He was one of those. Yeah, very famous snooker player.
When you think you're Charlie Knott with the ball, she's got it in her hand now. She's bowling to Heather Graham. He tries to use her feet and gets a thick inside edge to a full delivery. Good fielding by Abby Norgrove in mid-wicket area. Stops a single. Keeps Heather Graham quiet for another delivery. How long that will last, I'm unsure. Comes towards us, then bowls into the pitch. Graham works that leg side up to Ella McCacken. Deep square leg, another one to her total. Moves to 66. She's played a brilliant knock so far as Heather Graham. 66 of just 48 deliveries. And Lucy Heyhoe with her providing good support. Waits patiently as Adams again talks to Charlie Knott. Maybe changing the field once more. She's wafting her arms around Georgia Adams. Reinforcing things on the offside. So I'm not sure what's happening now. There's a few personnel changes. It's going to look like there's going to be 2 mid-wickets in. Abby Norgrove and George Adams both stood at mid-wicket. George Adams slightly straighter than Norgrove, and they've got a deep mid-wicket as well. So there's obviously a plan to Lucy Heyhoe, who then tries to reverse ramp instead, as that fielder was moved from that position a moment ago. Misses it and hits her on the shoulder. Charlie Knott, George Adams, the Vipers showing all things necessary to take another wicket here. Flighted delivery this time from Knott, and the more conventional scoop chosen by Heyhoe. She'll come back for 2 as Ella McCacken runs round to her right. Two more to the total. Inventive stuff by Lucy Heyhoe.
Yeah, that's good, yeah. I like it.
With 7 overs to go.
Very full delivery to be doing that too, but somehow she's found a way. They're still on for 300 here.
Reinforcements taken. Paddle scoop's been shut off now. Full toss by Charlie Knott. Slaps that to George Adams at mid-wicket. So the other mid-wicket, Abby Norgrove's come into short fine to stop that scoopy paddly shot. It's the end of the 44th. 6 to go. 261 for 6. Said they wanted to keep below 270. I don't think they're going to do that, the Vipers. So they'll be hoping to keep them now below 300.
Yeah. 3 runs off that one, incredibly. Seemed to take ages, that over. As you were saying, lots of field changes. Still a few coffees and ice creams being bought around the ground. Just the odd one. If you watch it on the live picture feed, there's the ice cream van. It's still there, fortunately. I just don't think... And there goes the train. There it is, the blue train. Puffin Billy. 1 or 2 on it. In fact, 1 at the front. I can't see anybody else on it. So it's pretty empty, actually, going past there. So George Adams back into the attack. Bowling to Heather Graham. And Graham drives, and what doesn't time that at all, goes out on the onside. She's played really well here, Heather Graham. My word, what a... Just a perfect innings, complimenting both Bryce sisters, Marie Kelly, all who made runs today.
The thing about the Blaze now is all of their batters are contributing, aren't they?
Yeah, they have. Heather Graham goes big again. She loves the shot straight. It's in the air. She hasn't hit it quite as well as before. It's 1 bounce 4. Charlie Knott flinging out a left hand as she was running around from mid-on. Couldn't quite get there. And Graham moves on to 70, 265 for 6. And apart from the couple of hundreds that Heather Graham has hit, in fact she's hit 400s, she's getting up to one of her higher scores in this form of the game, in 50 over cricket.
It's really snuck up on you though, hasn't it? It doesn't feel like she's been smacking them to all parts, but she's just picked off boundaries in this innings. She's made that will be her 12th boundary of the innings.
Yeah.
Striking at 132, playing an absolute blinder for the Blaze.
For various sides, she's played upwards of 90 List A games. Round the wicket, and she's dragged that around through mid-wicket, and that should be 4 more. That is a good strike. Nothing Monaghan can do, or Charlie Knott as well, on the boundary rope, and she's just hitting through the line. And more often than not, the ball's found in the middle of the bat. She moves on to 74, 269 for 6 in the 45th.
This is quite dangerous, isn't it, now? Heather Graham in, seeing the ball like a beach ball, and can really push this total very high if they don't get rid of her soon.
Round the wicket again, Adams, and she goes over mid-wicket again. She hasn't quite timed this. 1 bounce to Alice Monaghan, whose cap comes off again. It wouldn't be Alice Monaghan unless the cap came off when she was doing a bit of fielding in the deep.
I'm just wondering whether she needs a little bit of a...
glue.
Then she come on to bowl and can't get a hat on.
I'm just wondering, is she fit
just
enough
a tightening.
Is she fit
Possibly
enough to
not.
bowl?
Whether she's just not been preferred to because of Elwes bowling today, I don't know.
Lucy Heyhoe on strike then. And she's gone for the reverse sweep, misses that one, she's bowled. Well, Adams went straight, and Lucy Heyhoe had to hit. Came across the stumps there, tried to reverse that, and that's gone and hit the middle stump. Lucy Heyhoe goes for 6, 270 for 7, now the Blaze.
She played a good little cameo, really. I mean, she only made 6, but I just felt like she just did her job getting Heather Graham on strike and was playing it really nicely and tried those little dinky paddle and reverse paddles in off the last over from Charlie Knott. And, you know, she would almost back her to play it but missed it on that occasion. But another batter comes to the crease, Josie Groves, with a under-19s now experience. She also went on that tour to Sri Lanka.
Was it March, April?
Yeah, it
About
was.
that time,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah.
With some of the Vipers girls as well, all went on that tour to Sri Lanka. Played Australia and Sri Lanka out there in a multi-format series. Joins Heather Graham, who's 75 not out, off just 53 deliveries, 13 boundaries, striking 141 is Heather Graham. So all Josie Groves has to do now, her job is to get Heather Graham on the strike strictly as many of these deliveries in these last 5 and a bit overs. 5.1 overs, one ball left of this final over. Final ball from Adams. She's got one more to do after that before she's completed her 10.
19 years of age, yeah, Josie Groves.
Just got to get Heather Graham on strike. She's driving up to mid-off on this occasion and will keep the strike. So they're not turning down singles at this stage. And she gets off the mark straight away. So 271 for 7, 5 more to do here at Chesterfield. The Blaze are in a really commanding position with 3 wickets left, but Heather Graham's seeing them really, really nicely.
43-run partnership between Graham and Heyhoe in 5 overs. Even though Lucy Heyhoe only scored 5 of those, 6 of those, you're right.
It's a really important, it's a really important partnership. Just allow Heather Graham to just keep going. She's got to face as many of these balls in this last 5 overs as she can.
Was this your over?
It is. Did I take the last ball of the last one?
Yeah, but I'm not.
Sorry.
Not that I'm making a big thing about it.
I hope not. Charlie Knott then to bowl her last. She's bowled 9 overs so far, 2 wickets for her. It's a full delivery driven up to long off, and Josie Groves does exactly that and gets Heather Graham on strike as they take 1 to George Railways. That long off. Apologies, I just nicked that last one.
No, that's all right. No, it's
Just got carried away.
Yeah, that's good.
Got carried away. Lovely afternoon here at Chesterfield.
Yeah,
Sun's out, nice and warm. Although we're under the shaded tent. Not in again, past the umpire. Bowls to Heather Graham, who works that leg side off the glove, it seems. Picks up 1 more to Ava Lee, who's at short fine, does the fielding. 273 for 7. Groves back on strike. Not bowls to her. A slow delivery, and Groves has tried to sweep, and it's at the top of the stumps. A really good delivery from Charlie Knott. Took all the pace out of it. Josie Groves had to create all the pace for herself and was too early on the shot. Good bit of bowling. And it's another wicket for the Vipers. They're just starting to drag this back a little bit. Trying to keep Heather Graham at the other end. If they can get rid of her, great. But if they can just start picking off wickets at the other end, it's going to be really beneficial for them. So they've got 2 wickets to take if they can try and bowl out the Blaze. And another wicket for Charlie Knott. That takes her. She's got 3 in this match. And she's got 14 in the competition so far now, Charlie Knott. What a great overseas signing she is.
Certainly
Or
is.
has been.
Grace Ballinger's in front of Cassidy McCarthy. Now McCarthy batted at 9 in the last game, or she was down at 9. She was down at 9 today.
Just been
So
shafted down a few pegs.
she has. Grace Ballinger does have a highest score of 25 in this competition, so
Maybe that's what they're going with.
yeah.
More experienced, possibly.
Yeah.
Just about. Grace Ballinger, maybe the left-hander, who knows?
It's
Changing the angles.
Cassidy's only got a high score of 12, though she's only played 7 games. So maybe.
Although I don't think Grace Ballinger would have batted in many games that she's played in.
No.
She might have done when they were Lightning, of course. They're a little,
Well, yeah, she
almost like a
put in
completely
every game.
different side, almost like a different side back then.
Yeah, what a transformation, isn't it? Just one little move further up the M1.
Change of kit, change of name.
Yeah, it's made a big
Change
difference.
of feeling, really.
Yeah.
Confidence around the group. Charlie Knott then comes round the wicket to the left-handed Ballinger. So back of a length delivery that she works square on the offside, but Heather Graham wanted one. I don't think there was one there.
It's a horrible throwback to Knott as well. Untidy looking.
Has been a little bit of that floating around the camp today, hasn't there? Some untidy fielding and throws.
They all stayed up and watched the election last night.
Maybe. Not in again then, round the wicket. It's a thick outside edge of the bat of Grace Ballinger. It runs away from Ava Lee. She cuts it off just inside the rope. She'll collect 2 to her total. She's off the mark. Here's Grace Ballinger. Too much width on offer from Charlie Knott. Takes the score up to 275 for 8. 4 to go after this one. Another hoot of the train. Not in again, another slow delivery. Pressed forward on the front foot by Ballinger into the leg side. That's the end of the 46th over. 4 to go here at Queen's Park in Chesterfield. 275 for 8. Heather Graham's been silenced in the last sort of couple of overs, hasn't she? Hadn't seen a lot of the strike.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering how she will play it now, because, you know, without being unkind to the last 2 batters, that she's got to be a little bit careful that she uses the last 4 overs.
Yeah.
Up. So will she keep playing the same way? It'll be interesting. It's interesting, the train still hooting around the place. I've stopped counting now, but it is close to 50, if not 50, which means it's been hooting once every over. I mean, does it feel like? Does that feel like it's been hooting once every over?
Sometimes more than once an over.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Goes through little patches where you hear it more often.
Yeah.
More when a wicket's fallen or with a 6 hit or something. Bit more excitement.
Clearly a cricket lover, the train driver. There's Georgia Adams then bowls. Oh, Graham is still going for the big shots, and she's actually not taking a single. She's hit that right up to deep mid-on. Charlie Knott fields just in front of us, and she hasn't taken it. She stayed there. That's really interesting. So she's just got to stand there and deliver.
She wants to try and use as many of these balls just for herself.
Hits that harder to Charlie Knott. This time she does accept the single. Interesting why she didn't perhaps go the ball before. She moves on to 77, 276 for 8.
Yeah, if you're going to take the second one, then you might as well have taken the first, really.
Odd, isn't it? Still been a good knock. Heather Graham has lasted 56 balls for a 77 out there. Absolutely ideal from a Blaze point of view.
She's got the same number of runs as the number on the back of her shirt now.
Spooky. Here comes Adams, round the wicket. Ballinger tries to turn that away on the onside, gets wrapped on the pad. This is a danger for the Blaze, isn't it, really, if they start using... Grace Ballinger starts using balls up. Or if she gets out trying to do something a little silly.
I suppose that was the risk of taking the single, as this could happen.
That's true.
So early in the over.
Adams round the wicket to Ballinger, gets wrapped on the pad as a shout, and actually they'll get a leg by here, which actually is the perfect scenario from a Blaze point of view, which brings Heather Graham back on strike. 277 for 8. Train driver like that one. He thought that was out. I think that's his code for out. That was out.
He can see it from deep point, can he? Or from inside the lake.
Yeah, there was a definitely different pull on the string there, the different feel to that whistle on the train. Oh, she's gone for a reverse sweep there, gets wrapped on the pad. Goes out on the offside. No shout for an LBW. So it's way outside off stump. Looking at that. Even though we're not in line, we can see it on the picture feed. We're also on the BBC Sports website and app if you want to pick us up that way throughout the day. Myself, Kevin James and Charlotte Taylor. As Adams bowls. Low full toss, and Heather Graham almost was determined just to get a single there and didn't try and belt it. Just pushed it into the gap on the offside. End of the over, she'll keep the strike. Knew exactly what she was doing.
Farming the strike. Old school farming the strike.
Yeah.
We love to see it. 278 for 8. 3 to go here now. Can they get close to 300, Kev?
Well, it depends on Heather Graham, doesn't it, really? And it depends on how she marshals these last couple of wickets. Gemma Green, who you know very well from Hursley Park Ladies, who does a bit of commentary with us down south. We're talking about people from Chesterfield. Gemma said that she's just messaged me to say she's 50% Chesterfield.
All right.
Her dad, Phil, also does some commentary with the Vipers with us as well.
50% Chesterfield.
He was up there on a cricket tour in 1979 playing at Queen's Park when he met my mum. whole of Mum's family still live in Chesterfield.
I should know that, really. She's probably told me that millions of times before.
Yeah, she's a club mate of yours at
Yeah.
Hursley Park near Winchester.
Good friend of mine. Apologies, Jen. You probably have told me that before. The reintroduction of Mary Taylor then. 3 overs to go. She's bowled 6 overs so far, 1 for 32. Got the wicket of... Who'd you get the wicket of? Marie Kelly. Bowled through the gate. Good catch to dismiss Sarah Bryce as well. So she's had a good day so far, Mary Taylor. Bowled nicely. She's got the ball in hand now as she rolls the ball from one hand to the other. And she runs towards us, bowls to Graham, who lifts that over the infield. No, doesn't get it as far as Charlie Knott, who's waiting at the long on boundary, dismisses her. Casually takes the catch above her head, and that is the end of Heather Graham. She's played a brilliant innings, 78 for her. She just tried to play one shot too many.
Yeah, she's going for the big one, isn't she, really? Good catch from Charlie Knott. I mean, she's right on the rope there. Hardly had to move, had to steady herself, keep her eye on it. And Heather Graham goes. She'll get a good round of applause as well. Wonderful knock. And Cassidy McCarthy finally walks to the crease. We built her up. Well, actually, no, you said that she wasn't much of a batter on the Vipers Academy, so... to be fair.
She can swing the bat, though. Technically, you know, wasn't known as a batter.
Yeah.
But does give it, you know, does swing the bat quite hard. She could be useful here. She gets a couple away, as most tail-enders want to be. I know when I used to bat at 10, sometimes 11. Should have been 10. just swing the bat around and get a few late ones.
Yeah,
just annoy the opposition a little bit more.
So...
Conventional hitting through the line, of course.
Why is she up here then? Was she offered a contract by Blaze?
She
or
went
she...
to Loughborough University, still at Loughborough University, I think.
Okay.
So sort of moved up here, and
Yep.
then left the Vipers Academy and then joined up here, probably just through convenience, I suppose, as she swats the full toss from Mary Taylor down the throat of Charlie Knott, who's had to do a bit more work this time, runs in off the long on boundary and takes the catch. So she gets a first baller in the end as McCarthy. They've ended up bowling out the Blaze. They haven't used up all their overs, which could be key. I said that the Vipers want to keep them below 270. They've kept them below 280, and from where they were, they'd probably be quite happy with that in the end, that they've managed to just sneak a couple, you know, sort of bowl them out with 2 or 3 overs to go that could have conceded another 20 and got them up to 300. So 278 is the final score for the Vipers. What do you think about that then, Kev?
Well, it's they were they at one stage 270 for 6, 278 all out. Mary Taylor will be on a hat trick the next time she bowls in the game, with 2 balls there.
Which could be, when's the next game after this one? Could be Wednesday at Falkland.
Well, there you are, and you'll be there. So you'll be able
bowls
to
in that
maybe
one?
concentrate. But I thought McCarthy was a bit unlucky there, really. Actually,
She got a
first
good
ball
piece
she's
of it,
in,
yeah.
she got it. She's caught a deep mid-on. Maybe not quite as close to the rope as Heather Graham was, but nevertheless, I think 278, you've got to be happy with that. And there were balls remaining. I think that was the second ball of the 48th over it was. So you've got 2 overs plus 4 balls. So there was another 16 balls left out there for the Blaze. Cassidy McCarthy going for no score off the first ball, but Heather Graham, the top scorer in the Blaze innings, with 78 from 59 deliveries, with 12 fours and 1 6. And earlier we had 65 from Catherine Bryce. Her top scores in top score in a Blaze shirt, although she got a bigger score when she was with Lightning. 65 from 72 with 5 fours and 1.